Clobberin time! Clobberanimo!
Yeah, got it in there eventually. Clobberanimo, my friends. Or more importantly,
Clobberanimo!
I love it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Clobberin Times, my dear friends. Clobby's Clubhouse. Clobby's Clubhouse number 73. Clobberin Times on YouTube, 538, and overall for the past almost a couple of weeks, it'll be 14 years. 1,238.
Holy cow, it's okay.
Numbers.
Wow.
All my numbers are all mixed up, jumbled up there. But it is so great to be here. Look at all our wonderful friends who are with us here already. But there are none better, of course, than my fantastic first officer. You know her, you love her, you can't live without her. Commander R.M. Briggs, welcome.
Oh, wow. I don't deserve that intro, but you know what? I'll take it because I love you so much. And I love your company. You're one of my best friends in the whole world. So is Mark. Every year that goes by where I'm friends with you guys, I appreciate you more and more. I just wish you lived closer. I love you guys so much. So, hail to the chat. Good evening, everyone. I am so honored to be here. I'm excited to talk about some fun stuff tonight. I just want to say hail also to my wonderful Patreon subs. My book launch is fast approaching on April 29th. It will be at the Jubilee Auditorium. And it could not happen without the help of Sean Carter. That's Sean Carter from Mars. Cardinal Sid, Shooter, Larry is a full backer of my book, as well as Tony Stark, the awesome, amazing Chris Persia, Scuba Pete and Leslie Pete, Eric K. and Kirby, Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C, you can never forget about that guy, Jilly Jill, and Maximum Limericks. And, let's do it!
Yes, indeed. And of course, with us as always is the great Chief Engineer, Mark D with a C. Welcome.
Glad to be here. Looking forward to another great night at the clubhouse with everyone here and everyone in the chat. And thank you for that, Raquel. And thank you, Clobbering Times. Yep. It's not Thursday night if you're not at the clubhouse, right?
That's right.
Absolutely. That's right. Quick show note. Tomorrow night on our great buddy Nick Weiser's channel, 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser. It'll be the usual Friday night comic shop gang, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, a big open comic book geekness. And we're looking forward to that with the Comic Shop Boys. And then Saturday night Star Trek, of course, returns as always.
All right.
4 more episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 5. We're getting toward the end of that season, and we have such a great time with you all, and I just looking forward to it. What a fun, amazing, extraordinary time we always have on there. And of course, don't forget the geekery on the Sunday night on March channel.
Night, yep. Thank
10
you.
p.m. Eastern. So let's see. What else? Let's shout out our wrenches, and then we'll do some shout outs now in general here. Of course, fantastic wrenches. Whether they're here or not, they get the shout outs. The great Eric K., the bronze wrencher.
Eric and
Hey,
Kirby.
buddy. And the puppy, don't it? We're not going
Yep.
to fit the puppy.
Kirby Curbs.
The great Chris Persia, vindicated wrench of the North, buddy. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do, my friend. D. Bud Martin, the wrench of iron.
David.
The god of wrenches himself, the great Lord Thoth, chiefs of security. And of course, shout out to his wonderful better half, Lady Thoth. Avon lives, long lives the Legion. I got the dog covered. Why do you keep wondering about the dog? You know, get the
Just
dog.
let the dog. Show me
What
the
is it with you?
dog.
Release the hounds.
Okay, now I'm not doing the dogs. It's just no.
What?
Raquel will do the dog.
Look at
I
his
promise you
little
I'm going to
wrinkles.
get the dog every time.
Don't you
If
just
I-
want to rub your nose on his cute little wrinkly
I love it.
forehead? That's
I
Lance,
got-
everyone.
Anybody who has their puppy dog, if I have a picture of it, it's going to get there. I'm going to show it. I love puppies. I want one. Can't have one.
Especially Sir Lancethoth.
Indeed. My my great partner in crime on Earth, B, the great J-Man, the wrench without fear, had a fantastic time doing some more Earth B review with you this past Monday night, buddy, and we'll have another one next month. So what a great chap he is.
Hey.
I love the J-Man.
J-Man.
Indeedishness. Master of the Clubberin, artist extraordinaire, and cover artist of, painter of the cover of the wonderful Science Fiction Tales by Commander R.M. Briggs.
Gifted
Hungry
painter.
boy.
Artistic genius. HP.
Indeedishness.
Yeah,
The
hungry
super
boy.
wrench extraordinaire. Cal L. Buddy.
The real
Stephen
soup.
M.
Kick a bow. Kick a bow.
Wielder of Reach Mjolnir, the Thor of Vegas, Maddie's daddy.
We love the Thor of Vegas. Please
Yes.
kiss
Hi
Maddie's
to
face
Maddie.
for me, please.
Maddie.
Hope she's
Maddie's
feeling
daddy.
better.
Oh, she
Hope you-
is?
hope you
That's
both-
good.
She's getting better, but I think Steve was been under the weather. Hopefully he's getting better though, buddy. Hope you're feeling better, man.
Yikes.
As he says, the petri dish that is daycare.
Yes. Well, that's exactly it. Like, it's scary. You
That's
know
what
what
it
I
is.
mean?
Indeedishness, Fanty Outsider was a man. It was a big man, but never mind. We'll leave it at that. Let's see here. Now let me run the chat back so I can say hellos to our friends who are here with us already. Let me
Yeah.
see. Dave G. Sound.
Dave G. Sound, good evening. It is so good to see you, my friend. And while the boss is calling you out, you've said, Raquel, might you have some might you have someone record, I'm sorry, your book release to share with those who cannot make it, perhaps as a special to your donors. Dave G. Sound, I will absolutely do that. I'm speaking with 2 different videographers at this time, and I will be sharing it,
Good.
but I'm going to do it privately.
Awesome.
And then everyone can watch what happened and how it went down, and look,
Nice.
all of these messages, they mean so much to me. You guys have no idea what I feel in my heart for all of you. Like, it's not going to be the same without you all being there. I'm going to be thinking about you the whole time.
Well, there you go. Dave G. Sound, and he's not just a body of water. He's a real individual. Donnie Pearson. Hello there, Power Ranger extraordinary.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hey, Donnie.
Good evening, sir. Donnie. Let's see here. J.D. Lewis, what's up, buddy? Hey.
JD Lewis.
Hey there. Stuart Mitchell, you old dog. Good to see
Dolly
you
had
there.
braces.
Dolly had braces indeed.
They were not Invisaligns.
They were not.
Freaking braces, damn it. Larry.
The man who is so nice, you ought to say it thrice. Larry,
Yes.
Larry, Larry! Mwah,
Larry.
mwah, mwah.
Yes, indeed. Larry does not tarry. He hangs out with us. Hang on, buddy. I'm vamping to get to the next one that we haven't called out yet. I know there's got to be somebody here. JT Kirk.
JT Kirk!
Well, JT.
Wow, that worked out perfectly. Skogly Jotun. What is up, Skog? What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hey, Herc 130.
You know what that means.
Ooba dooby.
Ooby dooby. Ooby dooby.
Yeah,
Ooby dooby. Get out the
I like
tequila.
Oh, that's different tequila.
Yeah, Herc's ready for a first contact.
Claude Selling. Hey. Good to see you there. Masters, Maniac Mexico, MMM.
Triple M.
M. Look at that. Let's see here. He said he jailbreaks to watch this. Well, I hope you don't get caught. Hide.
Jailbreak.
Michael Beacom. Shout out to you, my friends. You're never too late here. We appreciate you. And of course, shout out to your wonderful better half, Cassandra.
We love the Beacons here. Wonderful family.
Indeed.
No beacons.
Captain Infinity and beyond.
My favorite rascal.
We're gonna need him Saturday night.
Yeah. I told him we have some time travel for him Saturday night. I hope he can find the time to visit us. Boom. Canadian Spider-Man does whatever a Canadian spider can. He spins a Canadian web any size, catches Canadian thieves just like Canadian flies. Look out! Here comes a Canadian Spider-Man. And not sorry. It was annoying enough for not to be sorry about it.
Don't be sorry.
Let's see what else we got here. I know I almost got everybody, but we'll see. Make sure. This is lemon pie.
Lemon pie. Larry, I love you very much. You are such a kind person and such an amazing friend. Every single person who knows you says that about you. You are such a fantastic human being. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Canadian Spidey. Snuggy Jr. Hello there.
Ooh, Snuggy Jr.
Hung out with us last night at the chat. Great, by the way. Thank you, everyone who hung out with me last night. I really enjoyed it. You were all fantastic. And all I did was prattle on, but
you don't prattle.
I prattle.
No,
I don't even know what prattling is, but if I knew it, I would do it.
You don't prattle. Chris Persia says spins a maple leaf web any size.
Spins a maple any size. Catches maple leaf crooks just like flies. See, in the chill of night at the scene of the Canadian crime, like a streak of Canadian light, he arrives just in Canadian time. Canadian Spider-Man, Canadian Spider-Man, does whatever a Canadian spider can. Wealth and Canadian fame, he's ignored. Action and Canadian. Wait a minute. Canadian action, I should say, is his reward. Look out! There comes the Canadian Spider-Man, Dave. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Oh! I have the wrong icon on. What kind of an Irish person am I? Hold on for a second, folks.
Dave says, there you go.
Do that.
There we go.
There's me lucky charms there. Hail everyone slanty.
Slasha.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Tomorrow is. You got big plans for tomorrow for St. Patty's Day?
Yes. It's going to be.
Really? What y'all doing?
It's going to be very, very Irish around here.
Well, that works.
Cabbage, I hope.
Corned beef and cabbage, homemade sausage rolls.
Corned beef.
Really, really nice custard pudding, beer.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Not going out on the town, or no, just doing it at home?
Oh, no, not for me. For me, it's not, you guys know me. 1 or 2 beers and that's it. I'm done. So there'll be no out on the town. But you should know, the front of my house looks like the Griswolds at Christmas, only it's all Irish paraphernalia. As many of you know, I did my DNA a couple of years ago and discovered that basically I'm 100% Irish. So flags abound. I mean, I always knew I was Irish, just not to this extent. So flags abound, paraphernalia everywhere. I have
Nice.
stockings, glasses that light up, a hat, beads. I mean, I got it all.
Niceness. Nice. Well, hey, there you go. What was it? Oh, no, hello there. Oh, no, I thought someone jumped in that and seen, but I got. Damn it, I need to keep clearing myself there. Well, let's see here. Before we get down to some of our usual beeswax, I guess I should fulfill my promise from last night.
Ooh.
Last night, I talked a bit in depth about a character near and dear to my heart because he has a new movie out there that you may have not. Dave G. Sell. Oh, we already talked to you. I'm sorry, but welcome again.
You're going to be talking cheese now?
Yeah, the big red cheese. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to talk about the movie because you're not going anywhere, are you? Mark?
I'm going to go, yeah. Maybe I'll see if the kids are home this weekend from college. Maybe they'll want to go this weekend, especially if I buy them tickets and popcorn. They might say yes.
I talked about the... Well, ain't cheap, so good luck. I talked about, of course, the wonderful character that I love, Captain Marvel, the real Captain Marvel, the real deal. And I even did a poll that was basically, which is your favorite Captain Marvel? And of course, I put Billy. The choices were Billy Batson, Marvel, Monica Rambeau, or Carol Danvers. And you know what won in a landslide. I don't have to tell you that Carol Danvers. Just kidding. Billy Batson.
Well, Carol Danvers in the 70s was cool, but yeah.
She wasn't called Captain Marvel at that
Ms.
point.
Marvel, though, yeah.
She never should have been. Anyway, so yeah, I decided to go see it so I can just see it. What the hell? I mean, I don't know what any of you thought of the first movie. It's so some things can be changed too much. Look, I understand comic characters that last the test of time, that go through 80 years in this case. They're going to get screwed around by other people that didn't even create them, and they're going to sometimes go in one way in the 40s and then come out in the in the early 21st century as something completely different. Certainly, I talked a lot about the history of this character, a little bit about the history of the character last night, and how this is one of the most cursed characters in all of comics. So a couple of years back, he got the first movie, of course, not his first time on television, on any live action thing, because in the mid 70s, we had the Shazam Filmation TV show, as you all know. But the first time in a big major blockbuster budget movie a few years back, and the movie did sort of relatively okay. It was just called Shazam because we can't call him Captain Marvel. The jackasses didn't even call him that inside of the movie. We know we can't put that on the marquee or anything because it's illegal. I explained a little bit about the history last night of what went on, and it's too much to go back into here. Suffice to say, National Periodical Publications, aka DC, really destroyed Fawcett over the competition between Captain Marvel and Superman. Captain Marvel, a comic at one point in the 40s, which actually outsold Superman, and both titles sold over 1 million copies for a while. Back when comics meant something, were actually a substantial business and art form and industry. So this character finally got a movie a couple of years back now, I guess. 2 years, 18, maybe 2018, 19, whatever it was. And it was so far removed from the character I love, and a little too much Screw 52, that even though the movie was cute enough and it was relatively, it was innocuous, it was enjoyable, it was fun. You go in just wanting so much more, then you're not going to get it because you're too old. You're not the target demo, for one thing. But it was a mildly amusing, fun enough movie, but there's just too much for me to really embrace it that much. Thought it was okay. Well, now you have a sequel that came out, just opened up today. You have the first one was called Shazam, which of course is the name of the wizard, not Captain Marvel. and they didn't even call him Captain Marvel in that first movie. And now you have today that just opened Shazam: Fury of the Gods, with most of the same cast returning from the original. With one of the girls was changed, and the villains being Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu. And if I have to pick of the two, I would say this one maybe is a little bit better. I mean, I'll just put it to you like this. I'm not going to make any kind of bold recommendations or anything. There are a few things that made me smile. A lot of things that made me go, as Raquel often points out about how this stuff is corporate sludge that's just getting over, it's starting to look like everything, it's all starting to blend together. It's all the same old stuff. It's all it's all sort of like hamburger at this point. It's like it's just coming off a conveyor belt, all the same. I think that's a sort of superhero fatigue in these movies anyway. It's pretty by the numbers, like a lot of these movies are now. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, being polite to it. So it's pretty standard stuff, but it moves. And if you just want to see a silly, halfway decent, fun superhero romp with a bunch of, again, over the top, mind numbing special effects that aren't too bad. I mean, they're just decent. It's always CG. We know that anyway, but it's fairly enjoyable. I think the character grew a little bit in this one, although it's not the iteration of Captain Marvel that I love, where he's, when he's Billy Batson, he's a child. When he says Shazam and turns into Captain Marvel, he is he's a full adult man imbued with the powers of the gods. And Shazam means Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Mercury. It means he has the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the Achilles. I always forget the Achilles one for some reason. And the speed of Mercury. Why always forget? Damn, I hate that I do that. I always draw the blank on it.
Honey.
God. Hey, Ezra, what's up, man?
Ezra, shalom.
Ezra.
Shalom. Why do I always forget the Achilles one? It makes me sick.
No, it's okay.
Oh, no, it makes me crazy. I always forget that one. I'm sorry, Achilles. He's probably not happy with me. Anyway, so the whole point is, though, early on, and for the longest time, he had the wisdom of Solomon. He didn't have the mind of Billy Batson.
So he doesn't become Billy Batson anymore as a young kid. He's like the same age now. He doesn't.
Oh, wow.
He's always Zachary Levi.
For the most part, most of the movie.
No, but he doesn't become a younger kid. They didn't have the age shift. Yeah. Did they have an age shift in the first? Wasn't he?
No, when he turns into Captain Sparkle Fingers.
Yeah.
Okay.
He still acts like the same kid, like a kid in a big.
Oh yeah. His personality.
Okay, so I need this explained to me then. So in the comics, which would be the original source material, so I want everyone at home thinking about this the same way you would think of the book versus the film. The little boy is a little boy, but when he transforms, he's imbued with the power of the gods and has an adult mind. But in this corporate, casting of the character, he doesn't shift the age, or what happens, Clobby?
What happened? Hey, Darius Munchausen, good to see you. What happened?
Hey, Darius.
And what happened is basically this: in the original origin in the 1940s, Bill Parker and C.C. Beck, this young kid who's he's a homeless kid that works for selling newspapers, and is it's an orphan, goes down into the subway one night and gets on this strange subway train, and it was being controlled by this old wizard, and he's old Shazam, and he's dying, and he wants to make a new champion to go out there and basically, and this is a character, he came out right after Superman and had the same exact type of powers, so there was legal struggles for many years between Fawcett Comics, who published it, and National, aka DC. So anyway, he tells the kid, and he shows him all the 7 deadly sins of man, and he says, I'm going to imbue you with the powers of the gods, and you're going to be Captain Marvel, and you're going to, when you say my name, so the thing is, so Billy Batson, 10, 11 years old, whatever he is, has to say Shazam, and he turns into, of course, this godlike being with the costume, and he's got Superman type powers, and because he has the wisdom of Solomon and all that going for him, what the wizard gave him, yes, he acts like a man. I mean, yes, he still has Billy's, memories and everything. He's Billy, but he's not just Billy. He's
mature.
He doesn't act like a child.
Okay, so
at some point, go ahead.
No. I just love this. I'm just learning. So may I please, just so I can visualize before you complete your thought, Does he ever revert? And if he does revert, Clobby, does something trigger that? Like when he,
Oh,
how does he become a boy again?
Okay, in other words, yes, throughout the lore, of course, whenever he's done doing whatever super feats he needs to perform as Captain Marvel, he'll just say, Captain Marvel will say Shazam, and he'll turn back into Billy.
Oh, so this is a very disciplined mind as well. This is a very good and very special little boy, because he only uses the power for good, and then he shuts Shazam off and only turns it back on. Well, this is nice too, because now his childhood's not being ruined, right?
Well, you see this picture here?
Yeah. No, I don't. Oh, okay. Yep.
My avatar. Okay, so that's Billy, and that's just but that's what Billy looks like when he's Billy, and when he says Shazam, that's what he looks like as Captain Marvel. He lives in an orphanage in Fawcett City, sells newspapers.
This is a very beautiful story. It doesn't sound like Superman to me. This sounds like a very unique and cute story.
Well, then he becomes a broadcaster on Riz Radio, and telling the news and stuff. So anyway, yes, the thing is, his sister gets Shazam powers as well, and even a young boy named Freddie Freeman becomes the Captain Marvel Jr. Anyway, so the whole thing is, but Billy. Yes, when he's in the Captain Marvel's body, he's he's very mature. He's an adult. He has the wisdom of Solomon. That's useful for a reason. You wouldn't know that he doesn't act like a child. However, many years later, back somewhere in the late 80s or in the early 90s, I believe it was at Jackass Burn, someone took the character and started writing him to where people, I don't know who decided to do this. It really aggravates me. I had to do some research, but it would just piss me off. He started acting like Billy, in the body of Captain Marvel, even though he switches back and forth.
That would ruin the magic of it.
Well, that's because some writer wanted to say, what do you think that must do to that kid that he got changed, that you're giving him all these adult responsibilities when he's just a child? That's why you have the wisdom of Solomon, you idiots.
Yeah.
Admiral Teague. So, but anyway, that's actually not the fault of the movie makers, believe it or not. This was done in comics. Okay. So, fast forward to around 2011, the Jackass Screw 52.
Okay.
They did something really mess his origin up, where Billy wasn't even a good kid anymore. He was like a little thug, a little street urchin, little thug, stealing things, where as opposed to being he was a virtuous like orphan boy. It was so Captain Marvel is right up there with Superman as the two most wholesome characters you're ever going to meet, when they're done right.
Yeah.
So along comes the Screwed 52, and they kept that whole thing where even though he says he gets into the body, it's like the movie Big.
Yeah.
He's it's like that. Someone must have saw the word. I think someone saw the movie Big and thought that would be a fun idea. That's always been my theory.
That's not good.
I hate it. So I've always hated that.
So this new thing, what's going on with this new movie? So this
new movie. The new movie plays on that. In other words, Billy's except he's a kid. He's not really. He's on the streets by himself because his parents abandoned him, and that kind of stuff. And so Zachary Levi, who was pretty good in the role, played him in these two movies. Right. When he turns into, well, they don't call him Captain Marvel, but I always will. When he says Shazam and gets into he still acts like a kid. Same mentality. There's no, and even. In this movie, they do touch on it, though. They actually mention, because he didn't know, because some idiot like Johns changed it from the gods. See, in the 70s, it was a TV show, live action TV show, where he was riding around in a van, going around helping people all over the place. And when he turned into Captain Marvel, before he would do that, he would consult the gods, Solomon and Hercules and Zeus and all these gods and stuff.
In the van.
I didn't say Heracles, but anyway, in the van. So in other words, that's the whole point of this character. He's adult, and then he's a kid. Even though, again, Captain Marvel still has Billy's mind. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a child entirely. He is mature. But now in these movies, it's easier to play for cheap laughs if you don't do that.
Well, that's been your complaint from the very beginning, is the genre conflation, where they're trying to make it a kid show and an adult show, a thriller and a mystery, a rom-com, and like they're just mixing it all up into this terrible soup. So it's interesting that you said that they had a live action show in the 70s, because I very vaguely, I did not watch a lot of television when I was young, but I very vaguely remember a character yelling, Shazam!
That's it.
Yeah.
And then we got
And
to
of course,
watch
there was
ISIS
also-
after that.
ISIS, yeah. But there's also Gomer Pyle, who was a big fan of the comic. So you say Shazam, Shazam,
Oh, no, that's
Shazam.
different.
Shazam.
Yeah,
know.
that's different. I love Gomer Pyle, but I remember Shazam. Yeah.
Yeah. And and it was he's a great character for kids. You get to, I mean, that's what comics were back then. They were power fantasies for kids. Imagine,
Yeah.
you're a young child, and one magic word turns you into basically Superman, the archetype, when you could do all the same things that Superman can do.
I don't
that's
know,
why
maybe
people
better
loved him.
than Superman because, and Superman's my top comic book hero, so don't get me wrong here, but I am very intrigued by this idea of Heracles and Achilles and King Solomon, and so you have all of these wonderful things that call different images to the mind, right? So you're thinking about what a great leader Achilles is, or Achilles. We're thinking about that, right? We're thinking about King Solomon and his mines, and then we're thinking about Heracles and the fact that he was a murderer, he was a troubled person, and he had all this power, and it's just really crazy. I think this is such a cool idea. I think this is a really super cool idea. Very, very cool character.
I love him. You should see you watch that Batman serial. You should see the Adventures of Captain Marvel serial from the 40s. It's the greatest movie serial.
Can we do that again? Can you do that again? So Shazam is.
First of all, let me say thank you to Cardinal Sin for that super sticker. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you, Gil.
Hi, Gil. How
Thank
are
you,
you,
buddy.
sweetheart?
Hey,
So
Gil.
can we please go through the acronym of the name again? Is it
Solomon,
the acronym?
Solomon, Heracles, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Mercury.
Zeus is in there too? Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Zeus.
That's why he gets the sparkly powers.
Okay.
See, they gotta let
But
all
it's
those
not
dumb ones-
sparkly powers. Zeus doesn't have sparkly powers.
I know.
No, they're
Zeus will
lightning.
strike
See, the
me
thing
down.
is,
Yeah.
the character never had lightning powers, even though it was Zeus. He never shot lightning until much later, and when somebody decided, well, Zeus, he can have those powers. Again, if it had been originally in the original character, I wouldn't have minded so much. But since it wasn't, I don't like it. I don't like the lightning lad powers.
And
But
Zeus was a horn dog, so it'd be so cool because he could have all these ladies, you know what I mean? All the
Oh, yeah,
ladies,
that's some
and
hot
then be
ladies.
a little boy again. It's kind of cute.
Well, his
I mean,
power
yeah.
set was very close to Superman when it came out, I would say. I mean,
DJ Ronnie
that
G,
term.
hey,
in those
Big
terms, yeah.
Ronnie G.
what's up? What's that now? His power set, yeah. I mean, look, Superman
Very close to Superman. Yeah.
Superman's the gold standard. What happened basically, Raquel, was because the two companies were selling a lot of comics, and because DC, the people at National at DC felt like that they thought that this character that they actually think that they had some inside dope on DC coming out with their character, and they tried to, or excuse me, Fawcett thought DC was ripping them off, but they got theirs out first. It was fairly close, but I don't think it was close enough. And anyway, so Superman came first. That's just the way it went. Captain Marvel came out though and was just as arguably as popular in the 40s. He was just as popular as Superman, and he outsold him sometimes. But what happened was
see that chart again while Clobby's talking, just so I'm
the
seeing
chart.
what he's saying, because he's. Can we go back to that? Yeah.
That one?
Yeah, and Clobby, could you please continue with what you're saying? I'm
Oh,
just trying to visualize
Okay.
everything you're saying. And Mark put up a chart that is basically walking me through what you're trying to articulate.
Okay, I was just saying, yeah, basically this is a big time, and it gets into some really dense comic book history minutia that I won't go into here. Suffice it to say that around 51 or 2 or 3, somewhere up in there, after being in court, dragging this thing through court for many years, DC National suing Fawcett. DC pretty much, or Fawcett, I mean, they destroyed Fawcett. Fawcett went out of business, and the character of Captain Marvel, as you know, the Fawcett version, didn't see the light of day for another 20 years. And he had a bunch of other titles for Fawcett as well. They had Captain Marvel Jr. They had the Marvel Family. They had Wiz, so, and that's kind of killed him for a while. And when he came back, his name had been taken. This one company. Oh man, I always forget the damn name. Someone mentioned it last night. I always forget his name.
Yeah, they bought the name out, right?
Well, first one company, when the name was up for grabs, did a Captain Marvel android that could take his limbs off and stuff, and that lasted like a few issues, and it didn't go long. So
Yeah.
Marvel paid them about $4,600 so they could take it and make their own Captain Marvel. By the time he was going to be resurrected by DC,
Yeah.
they needed something to put on the cover if they were going to do comics about Captain Marvel. So they just used the wizard's name, Shazam. That's why you hear Shazam all the time.
I
As a
love
title.
that though. I know that I'm not a geek and I don't know anything about comics, but you know what? I know and love the grand poobah of all geekdom. So I'm embarrassed to say, but this whole inspired story that you've told me about this acronym, about it being the magic word, and how all of these powers converge and influence the character. I would love to call the character Shazam. I didn't even realize that this character was this interesting. So may I please know the difference between the Billy Batson and the Teth Adam? I don't understand. So we have two Shazams. What's going on there?
About 4,000 and 5,000 years earlier than that, the old wizard Shazam. His first champion was Black Adam, or they called him Teth Adam, and he was the first one to wield those Shazam's powers.
Oh, okay.
MF Enterprises. See, every time I always forget that because I remember reading I read a big history about that MS Enterprises and what a nut job that guy was, Hungry Boy. But every time I need to remember the damn name, I can't. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine the swear acronym, and then you'd probably. I can't remember that mother blanking company.
That's actually a good way of remembering it.
Yeah, they almost say that in this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, believe it or not. But anyway, yeah. So, Teth Adam, he had one story back in the Golden Age where it talked about what he got brought back and he fought Captain Marvel. Then he ended up, being missing again until the 70s.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then of course they made a movie about him.
So if you had your druthers, would it be the Billy Batson Shazam that would have?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you want to call him Captain Marvel due to the fact that
that's his name.
It's an origin story. And the fact that it turned into an entire comic all by itself, right?
Yeah, there was Wiz Comics, and then it was there was Captain Marvel family, the Marvel family, Captain Marvel Jr., Mary Marvel, his sister, and but Captain Marvel was his name. You never had to, Shazam was just the word he used to turn into Captain Marvel.
It's the magic word he used, and it's also evidently this brilliant and super intriguing and super fun acronym. I love it. I just love it.
I do too, and I love the character. Like I said, I saw Superman first, and later fell in love with Captain Marvel. I'll always love soups first, but I do love the Big Red Cheese. I mean, I got this book. You'll see this book I got in the mid 70s called. It was a big hardcover called Shazam from the 40s to the 70s, just like a book. The two previous books I got, Batman from the 30s to the 70s, and Superman to the 30s and 70s. That's where I got to really read up on his history. It's got a bunch of reprints of the old Captain Marvel comics in there. And yes, because of legal concerns, they couldn't call him Captain Marvel on the cover of their comic books or that Filmation live action Saturday morning show. They couldn't call that Captain Marvel. But, even though it was called the Shazam, in the show, they called him Captain Marvel.
But now that's all changed.
No, I don't know what's changed because I'm pretty sure they said Captain Marvel in this new one.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier.
My ears must have been messed up.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. It's kind of fading in and out. I got to admit.
So, Boss Man, what does this show look like now? Like, do we have a visual of what the show the film looks like now, like the one you just saw?
This is what you're seeing. Mark's been showing
that's
pictures
the new.
from
Yeah,
it.
I'm showing.
Oh, that's the new one.
Month Philly reviews.
Yeah.
Says, "Hey, chat.
Blunt
Here's
Philly?
number 1 month, 1 month to come, and many more to come. Well, thank you, Blunt Philly reviews. I didn't know you were here. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. But yeah, what you've been seeing, Mark's been having up.
That's the new. That's exactly
the new movie, Fury of the Gods.
Like
there's Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are they play the daughters of Atlas, or whatever.
What?
Yeah, they're one of the daughters of the gods are pissed off, and they're the baddies in the movie. and there's his family. There's the thing. There was an old Marvel family. Well, now after the Screw 52, they started. Billy in the Screw 52 is this orphans or these living with these other orphans, and he ends up siphoning off his powers to a bunch of them. That's his current Shazamly, they like to call him.
Is Mary his real sister in this?
None of them are his real family.
None of them are, because Mary was his real sister, right? In the comics.
Yeah, but he didn't know it. Twin sister, but he didn't know it, remember? Yeah. So, and then Bill, he found Freddy floating on a raft out in the ocean in the real comic. And Freddy, by the way, fun fact, Freddie Freeman, who became Captain Marvel Jr., who has the dumbest ability because he has to say Captain Marvel to change into to Captain Marvel Jr. Anyway, his blue costume, if you could find it, there was Elvis's favorite comic was Captain Marvel Jr. And he based his look off of Captain Marvel Jr. Have you ever seen that? What he looks like?
Well, actually, I was just going to mention too, in the Elvis movie that's just out, one of the first scenes, he's carrying a Captain Marvel comic, and he's got the lightning bolt on his chest.
He loved Captain Marvel
in the movie. I'm like, oh, so cool. He's
nice.
Let's say I had a picture before of Captain Marvel Jr. Where did it go?
So if it's Atlas's daughter, which daughter of Atlas is it?
There were three daughters. I don't know if it was it Atlas, or was it Achilles, or was it Zeus's daughters? I can't remember whose daughters it were. I mean, I told you I phased out.
Yeah, I got you, Clobby.
I have to see a movie a lot of times to retain much. I got to admit it these days. Hi, Clobby. Hi, Mark. Hi, Raquel. Chris, so much fun. Thank you, Larry.
We love you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
I'm embarrassed that I can't remember who they were the daughters of, but I stayed awake the whole time though.
Yeah. Well, just because as you well know, Clobby, because you're not the average comic book person, you're also into reading and classics and literature. You know that you can't just do that. I mean, I'm sure a lot of comics do that, but it does have some implications, right? Atlas. Is it Dion? Is it Calypso? Which daughter is it? And it was
Calypso. Lucy Lou was Calypso. It was Atlas's daughters. Now, so I did remember it right. See, I don't trust my memory. Even when I get something right, I don't think I did. There you go. Three daughters
Isn't
of
he
Atlas.
busy holding up the sky?
No, that's why I couldn't show up.
I love that myth as a kid.
Because he wasn't there.
I hate that hood. I hate that freaking hood. Get that off there.
That's no good. Yeah, it's no good.
See, that look okay. I mean, I don't mind this group. The kid, him having a family. It's not
G-Man, Atlas has more than 3 daughters, though. So you can see the implication there, right? Because remember, Atlas isn't a god; he's a titan. So you can't think of him as like an Olympic god. You have to think of him as a titan. So when he starts having relations and creating things, you're going to wind up with water nymphs and things like that. So this is what I'm saying. Like it's huge implication to say, oh, well, the daughters of Atlas. If I recall correctly, I think Atlas has 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 6 or 7? I think he has either 6 or 7.
He got around when he wasn't holding things up.
Listen, a lot of the Greek gods were getting jiggy with it, and Zeus, the god of them all, the one who ruled Olympus and brought the Titans under control, and even fooled Gaia and forced the earth from the heavens. He was sleeping with everything. He was sleeping with everything. He even appeared as like a swan and had some. Yep. He had some fun.
Talk about Swan Lake.
3 in this one were. Hesper was played by Helen Mirren. Lucy Liu played Calypso, and a young lady whom I'm not familiar with played Anthea. And so it was them. And the other ones didn't show up because they were still pissed off that the Titans have never won a Super Bowl. So, so I think that was part of also the fury of the gods and the Titans or whatever because they're mad.
Anthea. Anyway, I'm not familiar with Anthea being Atlas's daughter, but whatever.
I got you. She was a cutie. A little bit, now here you go. This shot here on the old Saturday morning show.
Love this. Yeah.
Billy would always go and seek wisdom. Each week he would seek wisdom of the elders, as they called them. And there they are. and they were animated there, and he would talk to him. Billy,
Yeah.
today you will learn what it feels like to be bullied by an a-hole, and then go there and say Shazam, and then kick his ass, Billy. No, not really.
Yeah.
No. No, but yeah.
There's the elders. Yeah, it held up. It holds up pretty well. Now they did a when I had HBO Max, or no, it was Warner Brothers or whatever the heck it was for DC Ultimate or the streaming.
Right.
They came out with a Blu-ray and they actually had cleaned it up and
yeah, they did.
up-resed
They,
it. Oh, it looked beautiful. And I was watching them, and the episodes really held up really well. There's some great messages.
fun,
and
yeah.
they had one where like a Native American was getting picked on, and it was about the environment, and a nice, as a scout, had a nice message
yeah.
about not trashing when you're hiking. Yeah, they always had like a message.
It was a message show for kids. It was a PSA show for kids.
Yeah,
they went around the country in a RV, having adventures with Mentor and Billy. In every episode,
with the lightning bolt on front, so you'd never know.
Yeah,
you'd never recognize the van.
And they actually kept the secret. But whenever somebody would need some help, they'd always come across some troubled youth, and eventually would invariably need the assistance of Captain Marvel. And so Billy would have to go say Shazam. And as a kid, man, we ate it up. Look, there's the first.
I think I watched a couple of these episodes.
Yeah, I loved it.
But yeah,
well,
very crazy. Yeah, HB, I guess Athena was polishing her helmet. I think it's Anthea, I think they were saying, which I think is Anthea. Weird because that's actually an epithet of Hera, right? So this is what I mean. Once the comic book people dip their little wicks into Greek mythology, it's important that they follow through and get it right. There
you go. By the way, I thank you, J-Man, because I could not believe what I heard. He called him Captain Marvel. That was Michael Gray, who played
wearing
Billy
the red
Batson,
shirt.
And he was wearing the red shirt. And when he said, "You're the best, Captain Marvel," I almost fell out of my seat. And because it's what I've been waiting to hear.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I was not until you just told me that, J-Man. I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Raquel. I'm excited now. Because I was thinking, no, I didn't hear that right. No, he didn't. I was kind of, I don't know. I was like preoccupied. I think I was eating grabbing some popcorn or grabbing a drink, and he popped up there. And of course, I recognized him right away. He was even wearing that red shirt that you see there, which he's a lot older, of course, but he's still very active and goes to cons and loves the show. He said it. He said it. I thought I imagined it. I thought I'd imagine hearing it. Oh my God, that's
that makes more sense, HB. I totally understand.
Oh, thank you, Jay, man. Because I wasn't sure, dude. I'm not kidding. I'm like, no, he didn't.
Cray.
Dude,
and there's the van that you never recognized with the Captain Marvel.
We don't know why it has a lightning bolt on it.
Just in case you're wondering who's the secret identity.
Mentor.
Mentor. He was a great character, this guy.
That guy was like a classic actor from the 20s and 30s, Les Tremaine.
God, he's good.
Like one of the classic leading man types in the 70s. They say, hey, Les,
he was in everything.
You were not really a superstar anymore, so could you be on this little kiddie show? And I don't know. He probably enjoyed it. It's a shame he's gone now, but great actor.
Wear the same jacket every week.
The
same shirt, like Billy.
We loved Mentor, but again, this is.
Oh, it was great. I loved him. Yeah.
This is what superheroes are for. Now that guy right there, he's the second guy to play Captain Marvel. He's a buddy of our buddy Maddie's daddy, Steve Mitchum.
Yeah.
He talks with him and Michael Gray all the time, and Jackson Bosworth may look the part a little bit more, but John did a good job. There's Jackson. Met him at a con. He's kind of a never mind. But I hear that John's a cool dude.
Well, if he's friends with Maddie's daddy, or Maddie's daddy's got this for him, so
he's a bit bigger than the other guy. If you see what I'm saying. There's Jackson.
Yeah, it was dangerous filming these too. I think he almost got killed a few times in some of the stunts. There was a stunt where they went under a bridge, and then the rigging didn't work right. There's a lot of live action stuff they had to do. They got kept getting hurt, and then I think then at one point they had a contract dispute or something happened, and they just fired him. So there's a lot of bad blood with the original stunt actor who played Captain Marvel. So that's happens in TV. I guess
they had no special effects budget, but who cared? We didn't care. We were seeing Captain Marvel Then we were seeing him flying. We didn't give a crap how it looked. We just loved it.
Didn't matter. You loved it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Larry. I had a classics professor once tell me that there was a theory. Oh, it's been so many years now. I don't even remember. I would need to go and check one of my textbooks. But that it was basically a punishment for Hera, because of course he's a demigod, and it was one of Zeus's times when he was, out having knocking boots when he wasn't supposed to be.
Zeus got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
You got Sam number 1, J-Man. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I believe that's, but I mean, it's been years and years, and just as well as I do, that Greek mythology is very tangled. It's like the biggest soap opera ever created by human beings. It'd be like sitting down saying, yeah, let's talk about everybody in the Bible. You're just like, what about that guy who was like the 12th cousin of whomever in Leviticus? So yeah, it's hard to remember them all. But yeah, if I recall my university classics course correctly, it was meant as like a punishment for her. So
yeah. Have you ever seen ISIS number 1?
No.
Click on ISIS.
Not.
Talk about this. Unfortunately, we lost this beautiful woman a couple of years ago. She came on after a couple of seasons. She was on as a double with
Did I see
Shazam and the Secrets of ISIS. Oh my God!
We loved her
so much. The Shazam ISIS hour.
No, I don't.
She was wowzers, yeah.
I can't say for sure. I didn't commit all of this sexy, cool stuff to memory like you guys did, and obviously living in the United States,
you guys got. If you've seen it, yeah.
You guys got to see everything, right? Whereas me, I'm like this little poor kid who's living up in Canada, and we moved to the prairies where we had like 2 channels that worked well with bunny ears. So
yeah, I hear you. Good night, J-Man.
Good night, J-Man.
Good night, J-Man.
Hey, don't forget to follow
Shazam
J-Man,
comics.
and don't forget to go to his Amazon because he's a horror author. His wife is a poet. They sell books. His name is Jason. Go to J-Man's Twitter, follow him to his Amazon account, and please support him as an indie author, especially if you like horror and if you love beautiful poetry. His wife, do you know that his wife is an award-winning poet? So definitely worth your time, your effort, and your attention. Please support J-Man and all the stuff that he has going on, because he's a super cool cat and we love him around here.
Yes, indeed. By the way, that's a good point. You're right, Admiral Teague. We probably shouldn't be saying the name of the show much. I understand. You're right, though. Good point. Let's see here. Wow, I did not know that. Michael Beacom said she did a couple of photo spreads that left no secrets. I want him. I'm not saying I want him or anything, but I want him.
Yeah,
this looks familiar to me, but I mean, that could just be my mind playing tricks on me.
Yeah, well, she was something. She also
Blu-ray would be great to watch too.
She was also on the Spider-Man TV show.
That might be where I have seen her before, and that might be why I'm hesitant to say yes or no.
She was a cutie patootie.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yes, definitely cutie patootie.
Every boy that watched Shazam stuck around to watch. We stuck around. I'm not watching a girls show. Yeah, I am. We watched the girls show when we were like 10 years old. 12 years
You're
old.
darn right I'm going to watch a girls show. You guys are so funny.
And the other show, we mentioned it, the serial is fantastic. And that's public domain. I guess we could watch that on.
Now, the origin is different
YouTube.
in this. And he, but that's Tom Tyler as Captain Marvel.
He was fantastic.
I think this is probably the best movie serial I've ever seen.
Oh, it holds up. I mean, it's
maybe even better than Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe. I mean, they're both great.
Do you have any idea how much I love these old serials?
Well, this
You'd
is
love
a good
this one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this kind of stuff.
I guess we could do a watch party and just watch it on YouTube.
There are 12 episodes, right? Or 15 or 12? 12.
Mark,
I bought the Blu-ray. Yes, Raquel?
Honey, can you please tell me what I need to write down for that one? Is there a year that I need?
Adventures of Captain Marvel.
Oh, I'll get it too. But it's 1941. It's public domain, so it's if you goggle
probably on
Adventures
YouTube.
of Captain Marvel, it's
is it on YouTube?
found to the Kino Lorber fell into the public domain. Now they did
Okay.
release a Blu-ray that I bought,
Might be. I'll tell you too. Good.
so I don't know what.
What did you say again, Mark? I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Can you
that's
tell
okay.
me the year again?
Adventures of Captain Marvel,
Yes, sir.
1941.
1941. Thank you, sir. Sorry about that,
Now-
Mark. Please
Now,
continue.
his
it's all
origin that
good.
we're talking about is very different in this. How he gets
Yeah.
his powers, but
Yeah.
still, it's Captain Marvel, so we love it.
Yeah, I love these old serials. They're fabulous. When I saw the original Batman, I was blown away.
And the special
Yeah.
effects are really good. Here's Shazam when he meets Shazam.
Yeah, like look at this. This looks like something that I would watch over and over and over again.
You might enjoy it. I don't know. I mean, I love it when there he goes.
Transforms it.
Yeah, see,
it.
this is the kind of stuff I like, you guys.
Shaboom,
Look at this.
shaboom.
Look at those practical effects.
Yeah.
Did
the
you see
effects
the
are phenomenal.
explosion
The
had little
fly-
bits of paper in it?
Yeah, the flying effect was great in this too. I mean, when he flies, it's just.
Oh, the flying effect's good?
it's
I'm
Yeah,
phenomenal.
excited.
Yes.
It's 1940 something, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll
what they
watch.
do, they used
Oh,
a
he's
dummy.
handsome.
They used a dummy on a string, but it actually, so he leaps, and the stuntman that was doing this was really did a great job. And they'd have a spring-loaded thing, and they'd leap, and then they had this fly. I'm trying to find a picture of it.
He's
see
very
if I-
handsome. This gentleman
let's
is
see if I do
very good
flying.
looking.
Tom Tyler.
He's
Yeah, he was-
extremely
Phantom,
good
too.
looking.
I think he played the
So here's
Phantom, too, yeah. A couple of the
so here's
flying
the-
shots, yeah.
Oh
Yes, the
my gosh, that
dummy's
does
flying.
look incredible.
And then they had a screen where he's flying, but then they also had for takeoff and landings, and also had the dummy
Oh my
flying a few
gosh.
times. It was phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, I think we won't show it now, but I think you can show it. I mean, I guess.
I don't know. It's
It's
public
public
domain, but it's
domain.
still kind of. Yeah, Michael, I'm glad somebody else knows that besides me.
What?
He refers to J-Men Forever. They edited together the old Republic. So yeah, I know. Fire Sign Theater did that. I know no one here knows who that is, or maybe no one. But Fire Sign Theater edited a bunch of these old serials together, including this one and the Captain America one, and a bunch of them. And they called it J-Men Forever. They used to show it on Night Flight and other things. I'm glad somebody else knows about J-Men Forever, Michael. Go ahead, though.
I thought J-Man did that.
No.
No joke.
Yeah, Darius Munchausen. I'm very picky. I'm very picky, and I don't really like the Hollywood type of guy. Like I'm not into it. And yes, I am quite smitten. I think that this guy is really good looking. How tall?
And
is
then
he?
they had this where he flew up on the building with the dummy. It looked pretty damn good. I mean,
This looks better than anything we're seeing today. How tall was this guy? He's really handsome.
Pretty tall.
Yeah, he has
yeah,
a nice
no, he looked
face.
the
was a lot
part.
of
Now the only thing that's
A lot
bad
of
is
movie serials.
he does throw someone off the side of a building. Spoiler alert.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
murder.
no.
Captain Marvel.
He's a straight up
I
murder.
will cover my eyes.
Oh, it's not
And there's the
graphic. Or
villain
anything.
here.
It's just the 40s.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, and plus 1941. Yeah, this guy's a tall glass of water.
I knew you were going to say that.
Ooh,
Let's see if they have something about him flying. Let's see here.
Pretty sure he played the Phantom, too.
why don't the heroes look like this now? Now they all look like they're on steroids or they're all messed up. They don't look good.
Well, Zachary Levi sure ain't as pumped up as he is in the movie. I saw him at a red carpet. And when he's in the Shazam movie, he looks like he's like a blimp. I mean, I'm talking about blow up. He's blown up like he's like a
Right.
balloon.
Right.
He's a big guy, actually. He's a very tall
Not
guy.
anymore.
Oh.
I saw him just last week. It was one of those red carpet
He's
things.
over 6 feet.
He's
I
a
thought.
skinny little.
Oh, Michael
That's
Beacom
surprising.
sent the boss a gift and he says, new
Thank you,
job
buddy.
and morning comes early. I will be lurking. Be seeing you. Michael Beacom, before we
seeing
go
you. Thank
any
you.
further, we're not going to say be seeing you until we all say congratulations. Congratulations on the new job. You must
Congrats.
be so excited. Have a glass of milk if you can tolerate lactose because it'll help you sleep. And get some sleep. And I hope you have a fantastic day at your new job. Congratulations, my sweet friend.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. Congrats, buddy. Congrats.
And be seeing you.
Be seeing you.
Good luck.
Be seeing you.
Right, Ezra?
Yeah, so there's some.
I agree, Ezra. It's unattractive. I don't like it.
Shazam. But yeah, it's just it's definitely worth watching, and maybe I'll try to do a watch party on this one, even although we
I would
got a lot of
definitely show
UFO
up
to
to that
watch. But this
watch
is a
party.
fun one. Or you could break it up too, break it up into three nights or 4 nights. Yep. But the story just is really well done. The villain's
Yeah, you can
believable.
tell.
The it's not a hokey story. It's
No, I see exactly
there's
what you mean. You could tell from the visual effects that it's really good.
Yeah, so it's a
What's
little
that?
bit dated in a couple. That's one of the artifacts they found, I think.
It
Trying to
looks like
remember now.
some
Yep.
sort of
Spider.
yeah, like a pre-mechanization.
Yeah, that's that scorpion thingy.
Oh, the scorpion. Okay. Yeah.
That
Neat.
that MacGuffin.
Yeah, well, that's one heck of a handsome fella. I'll be watching that.
So it was really, really great serial for the time, and universally, it's considered probably the best serial, I think.
Yeah.
Out of all of them.
Yeah,
so.
I really like that first Batman serial.
This is probably oh god,
Ew,
why are they
why
showing
is
me
this
that?
on? Get rid of this.
Oh, I was trying to Captain Marvel.
Your agonizer, please.
Oh, see what happened? Oh,
Get
my
rid of
goodness
that.
gracious.
Yes.
Cover it with something.
God.
Ugh.
Gee.
And the cover.
Look at what HP put in the chat. I love you, HP. Male hubba for Raquel. hubba. I love HP.
Oh, why are they doing that
cover
to me? Why'd they do that to me?
Yep. Captain Marvel, the real deal. So that boy, I feel so much better that J-Man confirmed that for me.
Yeah.
I thought I was going crazy.
No, I thought it was cool.
It would happen it would happen like at the minute I'm kind of phasing out a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you kind of drift out for a second. You're like, did I just hear that?
You ever drift sometimes and you get back, you miss something and you go, I can't rewind that. Nah, whatever. Who cares?
Well, it can't be very good if you're drifting away, especially when like you're supposed to be the core audience. You should be on the edge of your seat and so excited. But the genre conflation, it's just that it's destroying all of the magic in these beautiful people say, oh, they have superhero movie fatigue. Do they really though? Or do they just have corporate genre conflation fatigue? There have been a couple of times where you've come home from these movies, Clobby, and you've walkie-talkied me and you've said to me, like, Raquel, like every second scene is like this super hilarious ha, 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 ha. And it's like every second scene, why? It's not a comedy. Like I'm not there for a comedy. And then you always follow it up by saying, I don't mind a few humorous moments, but why does the movie have to have everything in it? And so
the humor worked a little bit and they overdid it and they lost the magic. That's why.
Yeah, and then they go overboard, just like the rom-com aspects of it, and then they picked up that ball and ran with it. And it's like they're dumping everything into this soup, and the soup just tastes gross now. So I would like somebody to do a superhero movie that people who love superheroes want to watch, instead of a superhero movie made by a corporation that's trying to get people to bring their kids, their wives, their grandmas, their aunts, their uncles, and people who don't know, people who don't even like films or comics or anything, all into one theater. Let's not do that. Let's just make a superhero movie for superhero fans. And I think all that fatigue will go away, because I don't think that fatigue actually exists. I think people are just fatigued from corporations. They're sick of the corporate crap.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, that this is a movie that is this one though. See, it's when you're talking about how I got tired of everything being jokey, joke.
Yeah, that's the word you always use. Jokey joke.
Joking, I mean, jokeness. This is something that should be more lighthearted, so I'm fine as long as it lands and it's not completely unfunny. But still, I don't care if a movie featuring ostensibly, although excuse me, should be called Captain Marvel, for example, should be lighthearted, fun. Captain Marvel can be a character that can have a sense of humor the same way Superman does, but not everything's a damn joke, and that's that. But it's got to be funny too. It's got to work instead of being just ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, it's supposed to have that.
Every scene can't be, guffaw. I mean, look at, but people, I don't know, this modern day writing anyway. It's always, like you say, I guess it's
Sucks.
very corporate. It's just every people don't even talk. I know, in a sense, people talk. Like they in movies, it reflects the time, whatever they are, how people
Yeah.
talk. But man, I guess we just, as a society, we don't talk very well anymore. We don't speak. We talk like a bunch of children now. And I'm a geek. I am a child, and I admit that. But even I could at least fake a conversation about something mature for 5 seconds. But apparently, these movies, they can't even do that. But
Yeah, it's
in
a
this
little
case,
ridiculous.
these are kids. Yeah, and these characters are kids, though.
Yeah,
And
but
they act like kids.
it is ridiculous though, because there were moments in the Superman movies where there was a joke or some type of wry humor that made you smile, but it didn't change genre. And now, like, everything is so on maximum. Everything is on a 1 to 10 volume. It's on 11 volume of all of the genres. It just destroys your ability to enjoy it. And I have to shout out to Snail Messiah and welcome
Snail
him
Messiah.
by.
Yes,
Very
Snail.
important. Eric K has a migraine. That's an awful
no.
thing to have.
Oh,
It's absolutely terrible. So he
Sorry, buddy.
just wanted to say hello to everyone in the chat, but he's not talking back because he's not feeling well. So
that's all right, man. Feel
yeah,
good.
could
Feel better,
everyone
Eric.
send a little love to Eric for me, please? A little
Yes, indeed.
EK.
Hope you feel better, buddy. And see, there's the thing about that. It's one thing for a movie with a bunch of kids, like the characters kind of are in this movie. I can actually understand to some extent they're going to talk like kids and the way kids talk today, but they have no excuse when there's something passing itself off of Star Trek. Not that I'm going to get into that. Just saying, the way they write certain piece of trash shows with the name Star Trek on them, like a P3 season, they're written in the same way. In other words,
P3PO?
yeah, no, it's P Hard season 3. That show, this is a movie about kids having super silly superhero adventures, but the writing is the exact same kind of writing on that TV show, which is supposed to be adults in space having, stories and stuff. When they talk the same, they talk exactly the same way in that show that they talk in this movie, except they cuss on that show. They almost cussed on this one. They only cussed a couple of times. So anyway, what are you gonna do?
Blunt Philly Review says modern writing is not how people talk. People don't relate to movies or shows anymore. It's just not relatable. Go watch an episode of The Wire. It's 20 years old and still holds up. Blunt Philly Reviews, I have to agree with you. But like I said, I think that the public is starting to wake up to what I've been trying to explain to them for years. And that is this idea that when there is a single author and they're writing something to you, and whether you like it or you don't like it, you still appreciate it for being art, and you still respect it because it's craft. And so either you like it or you don't like it, but it's just coming from a single artist. But when you get a psychologist and a marketer in a room where they try and press down on the psychographics and demographics of something, and then they start drawing in all of these ideas to try and get you to watch something, and there are all these different writers in play, it's not writing anymore. It's not craft anymore. Now it's product. And that's why I've called it product for so many years. People are sick. People in Hollywood keep saying, oh, the public this, the public this, the public this. No, the public just doesn't want product anymore. They want to go back to having conversations with artists, conversations with authors, and real craftsmen, real people who are actually writing things, not teams of people trying to manipulate them. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. Another problem with the writing on this one, incidentally, is how many years has it been since the last one, Mark? First Shazam
Isn't it
movie?
like 3 or 4 years? I'm trying to remember now.
Maybe 2 or 3. Well, there's not a lot of growth between the two.
Okay.
In terms of, well, again, I won't go too into it. We're done. We're done with this. We're going to move on to our next segment anyway.
The action figure looks pretty cool, I have to say.
And look at Mego.
Doesn't look bad.
At least
there's
have
that,
me
and
going that.
and there's the Migo, yeah.
I don't know. I look at that guy that
I have a
you're
better-
showing me pictures of, this new modern Shazam or this new Captain Marvel. He looks like a goof. He doesn't even look
He
like
is a goof. Remember, they're writing him like a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah, I just ew.
Yeah, I like the actor, but yeah, I mean, now that Migo looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
I have a
DC
pretty good
Superpowers?
DC. I have the DC Select. The DC Select a couple of good Captain Marvel figures. Even
that
even
doesn't
the
look
Wiz
like
comics,
Chuck. Yeah,
even the original one based on the original his first appearance in Wiz Comics #2. So
and Zach Levy was great as Fandral, and they
Yeah, he
killed
was.
him off in that Ragnarok. Oh, it's much.
Garbaggio.
And a lot of people didn't recognize him here as Fandral.
That's
He was
him.
perfect. He was
Probably that's
great
him,
in the role because the Fandral's got that sense of humor, and he has a great comedy edge. Of course, if everyone geeks and nerds hopefully watch Chuck, and they worked at a store. It was called Buy More, and they had they didn't call it Geek Squad. What was it? What did they call it on the show? Someone help me out. But it was
it's like Best Buy, but it was called
Best
something
Buy.
else.
Yeah, Buy More. It
Geek
was called
Gang or
Buy More. I
Geeks?
think.
Buy
Yeah,
More,
something. Yeah, so he gets superpowers basically through some experiment, and he can access like the power, like one power at a time, and he, something gets implanted in his brain. But Chuck
Yeah,
is
it
a
was a fun
great show. Fun, yeah. Here he is. Yeah,
This guy does
Chuck.
not look like a superhero to me, whether
No.
blonde or brunette. He looks like a goof. Like he looks like one of those people that, no.
I liked him as Fandral a lot, and then Marvel went and killed him, and
But-
they killed the fat guy too.
But look at that. Go
Can't
back
kill
to
the
that one
fat
of
guy.
him as Captain Marvel for a second.
Right here.
All right, that's from the first movie, but he's pretty much the same size in the new one. And I saw
Yep.
something the other day of him at a red carpet thingy.
Yeah.
He looks about as skinny as, like a rail.
right.
And I know they filmed the movie a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Find him at the red carpet. Look at him. I mean, that's not. He's
Yeah, he
skinnier
lost-
than that.
No.
Yeah.
There, look how skinny he is in that one
Yeah.
shot.
Well, he probably
Yeah,
lost
definitely
weight. Yeah.
they're doing some
Well, it's
CGI
not easy
to
to
his
do-
body.
Well, or maybe he was all pumped up for the movie, and it's not easy to
I
have a body
guess.
like that. I'm not gonna throw any stones.
No, hey, I
there,
look, I
so-
envy the hell out of him, but that's a skinny
Yeah,
dude.
but I
it's
mean, come on.
that's
Like
a
if
thin
this
dude.
were a dress size, he went from mini to plus size. I don't know.
hey, look, I envy
Yeah.
him. If that's the case, cool. But I'm just saying.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
Hungry
I'm-
Boy says
I'm not sure.
justice for Volstagg. I agree. Yeah, the king
Right.
killed off the Warriors
Yeah,
3.
I'm
Oh,
Volstagg too. So.
oh God.
Justice for
Why'd
Volstagg.
they
You know
kill
who
him?
Hungry
my
boy.
superhero is on TV right now?
Who?
Rip. Yellowstone.
Send Rip.
Rip.
I like Reacher.
Yeah,
Reacher's
Reacher's nice
good
too.
too, yeah.
He's a bit of a meathead for me, but I like him.
But the reason why it's great on this show is because he's supposed to look like that yet be really smart, go against the stereotype. He's a detective, but everyone
Yes.
looks at him and thinks meathead.
Yes.
And that was kind of an interesting
Yeah.
thing about the character in the books, which I haven't
Very
read, but I know
smart.
a lot of people are fans.
That's
it's
why
kinda
I
cool.
watched the whole thing. Exactly
'cause-
what you just said is the reason why I watched the whole thing. My husband turned it on, and I thought, oh, great, another meathead movie or meathead serial or whatever show. And then I was like, oh, this is actually kind of good. This is actually pretty good. And I really enjoy it. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's still not quite as good for me
Oh
as
no,
my cowboy Rip.
I
Like,
understand.
my cowboy on Yellowstone, that is a fine cowboy. Just saying.
Well, you're up now, Raquel. It's time for you
oh,
to tell
is
us
it my
about-
turn?
Yeah. Go for it. Number one, what you got for us this week?
Okay, boss. I have, just adding to the stream.
Tales of Tomorrow.
That's right. Tales of Tomorrow. I always try and do it right, but I never get it right. Anyway, maybe Mark will show us some pictures.
Sure, we'll
Mark, I
find
would be
some.
so pleased if you would help us with that.
They're kind of sparse on this show, but yeah.
I know, and the
Of course, I didn't
resolution
do my
is
homework and watch it this week because I was watching UFO and doing the slideshow. But
shame.
shame. Clobberin
just
Times
kidding.
watched it, of course, though. He got me covered this time, though, right? He watched it.
Who watched it?
No,
Clobbering Times watched it, right?
Are you trying to transfer blame? I can't believe I just saw
Yes.
you trying to transfer. I heard you transfer
I
blame.
said cover. No, he's going to cover for me.
Oh,
First, your,
cover,
taste,
right,
first your taste is going down the drain. Now this.
Well, this week, folks, I have arrived at season 1, episode 10 of Tales of Tomorrow, or as Larry calls it, Tot. So the first episode, or the first episode of tonight, it would be the episode 10 that is in the public domain on a Canadian Tubi. But you should know that this is listed as season 1, episode 34 generally. Okay. And it was released, or first broadcast, on May 23rd, 1952. And because IMDb and it sucks, and everywhere else, the information on this show is very scarce, is quite scarce. I just did a little synopsis. A genius chemist who was imprisoned and tortured in a concentration camp discovers a way to turn all solid objects into water. His mental illness is exasperated by a hussy at his boarding house and the accidental death of his beloved niece, his only living relative. He snaps his crayons and unleashes the dissolving compound on the whole of humanity. So, and then there's a plot hole in this one because the compound doesn't dissolve flesh. So I won't reveal the end of this. Obviously, I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but I thought this one was pretty good. So, just like I put in my little synopsis here, genius chemist. This is right around the time where he was held in a concentration camp. It's obvious that he's been tortured and he has extreme mental health issues, but he's brilliant. And he manages, he's working for this company and he's developing all these different chemicals, and obviously he is suffering, and so he goes off by himself to live at this boarding house. Like I said, he falls in love with this hussy that lives at the boarding house. Her name is Nikki, and she's cruel to him, and then his niece dies, and then he just unleashes this weapon on the world, and it is a cool idea. It's a lot of fun. It's well acted. It really makes you think about what the writers were thinking about and feeling in socio-historical context, this being 1952, and all of the terrible things that happened at that time. So this is a pretty good episode. It's not perfect. I didn't like the fact that you see his hands dipping into the water as he's filling up these test tubes of this liquid, which he's going to put all over the world to dissolve the entire world, like Earth entirely. But he gets it on his hands and nothing happens. So I didn't really like that part. So cool idea. I wish it were a little more polished. So I gave this one a 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10.
It was an interesting idea. I mean,
It
sounds
is.
really, really cool. Yep.
Yeah. But then when you see him dipping his hands into the liquid, and you're like, how come his hands aren't dissolving? Right? Yeah. Okay. The next one is from Tales of Tomorrow. The next one is called The Dark Angel. It is season 1, episode 11. But it is season 1, episode 8 in the wider world. And I can see in the United States, it's listed as 11. Remember, all of these are in the public domain now, so we're getting some pretty wild numbering. Everyone should know that this first aired on September 28th, 1951. I was looking through the information on this episode through IMDb and other sources, and it's all wrong. There are actually some people who think that this episode is like religious and it's actually about an angel. It's not. That's not true. So once again, I wrote my own little synopsis for it. A boozy husband discovers his wife is morphing into a higher life form. Her doctor confides in him that her anatomy isn't normal. She leaves her husband. He sees her picture in the paper. So a year passes and he sees her picture in the paper and tracks her down. But she escapes from him. She goes into a broom closet and disappears. He tracks her by her genius inventions. So she's going through the world and she's inventing all of these new things. 4 years later, he sees her at his private jazz club. And he thinks that she wants to get back with him, and he begs her to return to him, and what is this? And brags about her powers. So yeah, so he talks to her about all of these beautiful things that she's inventing and all this stuff, and how much he loves her. And just the bartender overhears them speaking, so she murders the bartender with her mind. And so
you're saying her mind is abnormal?
Yes. Oh boy.
Sorry.
Your agonizer, please.
Young Frankenstein joke. I could not resist.
I know. It's okay. Her husband shoots her, so he sees her murder this guy in this private jazz club, and when it's empty. And so he takes out his gun and he shoots her. Now, I'm not going to tell you the end of the story because I don't want to spoil it for you, but this is getting into the things that Dr. Harari is talking about, the Oxford professor, and the things that Elon Musk is speaking about, the things that Stephen Hawking was speaking about before he died, about this idea that we may be on the precipice of human beings developing a higher life form through genetic engineering, or something happening. Anyway, we're on the cusp of having two very different tiers of abilities, physical abilities, mental abilities in humanity, and there are some very learned scientists who think that this is inevitable. So the fact that this was on a television in 1951 and that they were exploring this idea in 1951, I think is genius. I enjoyed this episode immensely, and I gave it an 8 out of 10. I probably should have given it a 9 out of 10. It is super, super, super good, and definitely worth your time, because this is pure science fiction that gets into futurism, and they don't really quite know how to express why it's happening. So it's implied that it's alien life that's doing it, rather than genetic manipulation. Obviously, our knowledge of genetics wasn't in 1951 what it is now. So I like the way that they handle it, even though it's 1951, and it is highly enjoyable because, of course, it's pure science fiction, pure hard science fiction. This is futurism. So highly enjoyable. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, and at the end of the episode, it's presented in cooperation with the Science Fiction League of America, which is just so cool. So,
I like that.
Yeah, so you could tell that they were massaging these ideas that are super scary for scientists as we're moving forward. Yeah. Anyway, Dr. Harari talks about this quite a lot in Homo Deus, or Human God. His new book that I read a couple of months ago. Very good, very good, very good. And of course, Stephen Hawking spoke about it in his last book before he passed away, which I also read, and very, very good, very good. Yeah. Oh, title again, please. Larry, sweetheart.
The Dark Angel.
Tonight was World of Water, for the chemist who loses his mind and basically sentences the entire world, including planet Earth, to death. Through the development of this chemical. And then the other one that is pure hard science fiction is The Dark Angel. The Dark Angel. So the first one, World of Water. And the second one, The Dark Angel.
There you go.
And excellent. That is all I have to present from Tales of Tomorrow. Or, as Larry calls it, Tot.
So for next week, you've got Many Happy Returns and The Miraculous Serum. I guess we do 2 for next week if anyone wants to watch it. 12 and 13,
no,
I guess.
Mine's different.
Oh, yours is different.
Yeah,
This
my
is
friend.
Tubi here, so
Yeah, but
but
I
you
think
had
that I have
you
Canadian
had.
Tubi.
Well, they must be much more friendly. But yeah, tonight you had World of Water
Yes,
and Dark Angel, so
and then
that was
Dark.
a
Oh,
10.
maybe it is
So
lining up.
so maybe as many 12 and 13.
Yeah, it might be. I'll check. Should I put it on my
Yeah,
Twitter?
put it on your Twitter so
I'll put it on my
people want to
Twitter when I
watch it.
do
They
it.
know which ones to watch. I think how many episodes does Tubi have? They have 18 total on Tubi. It looks like.
Yeah.
And of course,
Larry. So for the World of Water, I did some research and I could not find the short story origins for this one. So I think this one was a short story by an unknown. I'll get you that information by M.J. Gorley, James V. Blinchley, and Man Rubin. And it does have an adapted by. So this was a true, an actual short story that was converted into a teleplay by Man Rubin. And then there is The Dark Angel. So it was written by Henry Kuttner and C.L. Moore and Alvin Sapinsley. Yes, Sapinsley. And this one, I'm not sure, but Mark was saying that it was basically done by through meetings with a science organization in the United States. Would you please repeat that,
yeah,
Mark?
it was sponsored by. Now I'm forgetting what I just said, but one of the science fiction groups in the 50s that I guess helped put the show together or was an influence on the show. So, and I just posted it a few seconds ago. I'm forgetting what it is.
That's
I don't want
okay.
to play the video, even though it is public domain, but it
Yeah.
says it at the very very end. Yeah, presented with Science Fiction League of America, presented in
Yeah.
cooperation with it. So they were involved with the you had some hard sci-fi people.
Hard sci-fi people were involved with
Influencing it.
developing this teleplay. But as far as I can tell, Larry, for this one, what they're basically saying is the writers were Henry and CL, and then the Alvin Sapinsley gets a buy. So a buy is by his name. So I think that it's just IMDb being sloppy because it is a Gong Show, demonstrating that he was the one who did the adaptation. Okay,
Yeah,
for the
that's
Dark
what they
Angel.
list for for World of Water. Sorry, that's who they list for those.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's really sounds interesting. Yep.
Both of them are interesting. I just the World of Water, I wasn't happy with the way that it ended, and I think that it was like from this style, this very late 1940s, very early 1950s style of leaving you hanging so that you're terrified and you're thinking, oh, what if this
Yeah, what
happens to
happened?
me?
Yeah.
So if I were evaluating this in the 1950s, I would probably say that this is like the most brilliant thing I had ever watched because it would be in keeping with this style of this could happen to us. And so that's very science fiction-y, but just I'm a modern, I can't help it. My modern influence makes me want more. And then of course the pure or as Isaac Asimov refers to it, the hard science fiction of the Dark Angel is so good.
Yeah.
8 out of 10. Yeah.
That sounds. I haven't watched them yet, but they sound great. I'm just gonna have to put Tubi on one night and just fly through a bunch of these, and they're not that long. It looks like too. So
yeah, they're
get
I
through them
think
pretty
they're
quickly.
22 minutes or something like that.
Yep.
Yep. I
No
I really
commercials.
love them. Pardon?
No commercials, right?
I watch
No.
commercials.
Oh, on Tubi they have commercials. Oh, okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watch
Okay.
commercials. I don't mind.
That's
I don't
okay.
mind commercials.
Well, it can't be too many, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
that's,
enjoy it.
oh,
I
thank you for
especially
that.
enjoy
Yeah.
the fact that the commercials, because they're created in a way that's normal. So if you have Tales of Tomorrow and people are like, oh, okay, so this on this Tubi channel, they're going to be showing a whole bunch of science fiction. So then all of the commercials are for like cerebrally minded people, and they're all related to science fiction, and they're all related to science and earth and things that appeal to me. So if I'm watching Tubi and I'm watching Tales of Tomorrow and there are commercials, I enjoy the
Doesn't
commercials.
bother you as much, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but like when I'm on the internet and stuff like that, I absolutely hate the way that they just take a bucket of poop and throw it against the wall and see what sticks. Like when I'm on YouTube and I get a commercial, I'm like, what in the hell are they showing me right now? Why in the hell are they doing this? And it's because there's no demographic, there's no psychographic behind what's being done. It's just, like I said, bucket of poop against the wall. It's awful.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway.
Yeah, and or when they like if you watch Hulu, they play the same commercial over and over.
I don't have Hulu here. We don't
Hulu,
have Hulu
that
in
drives me
Canada.
crazy. It's like commercials are bad enough, but let's just give me different commercials. Yep.
So they show the same one over and over?
Yeah.
That
so
would make
same
me
one
nuts.
over and over. Yep. Oh, and Dadman's here. So hail Dadman. Oh, Dadman, we have a special greeting for you now. You're gonna like this one. So Dadman, here we go. So don't let that man drive. So that's from UFO, the episode we reviewed tonight. And the car crashes into a gas station. I said, who does that remind me of? That man who loves crashing into gas stations in Fortnite and blowing that up. So that's for you, Dad, man. I'll send you that link. So hopefully you'll play that over and over. But that was fun to do. So.
So and that will wrap up my segment for this week. And I hope Clobby will watch these. Clobby, how did they sound to you, boss? What did you think of?
Great. I keep wanting to watch it. One day you'll help me remember. Somehow I'll remember it in my garbagey, crappy memory. Because I love the way they sound. Hearing you talk about it is so entertaining. I want to actually watch this. I'm blown away by those kinds of concepts on a TV show that old, from that period. I just didn't even think it ever happened, other than Twilight Zone, which was many years later. Mm-hmm. Twilight Zone did it, and Outer Limits did it. Science Fiction Theater, some of the other ones, I guess they did too. So this shouldn't surprise me, but I just hadn't heard of this show. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
I didn't know of it either. Yeah,
it's super exciting. And, yeah.
Forey Ackerman.
I didn't know about the show. Yep.
The great Forey Ackerman was a member of the Science Fiction League of America. I was lucky enough to meet him once. Larry, great guy.
Oh, and
a legend.
You guys, their influence, that group's influence on this episode, I cannot oversell it. This is, it's just good stuff, right? Clobby and I have talked about it quite a lot, and Mark and I have talked about it quite a lot. But when you're reading hard science fiction, and you realize that it's hard science fiction, the first thing you think to yourself is, I got to look this up. This is such a cool concept. How close are we to this? How possible is this? Is this actually happening? What's the window? When is this going to happen? When do we anticipate we're going to make gains or strides in this area or conquer this idea? And that's when science fiction's at its best. It's when you're fully engaged and you're being edified by the material. So you're being educated, you're feeding your mind, enjoying yourself, and yeah, it's just, for me, that is full entertainment. But I'm sorry, everyone, I'm nerdy. You know what I mean? It's like I read to learn because that's entertainment to me, and I watch to learn because that's entertainment to me. So, and I realize that's not for everyone, but it is for me.
Darius Munchausen.
Yay!
There for the 3 months at the Clobberer level. Thank you, Darius, for being here. Appreciate you so much.
Oh, and I should tell everyone that I had a very busy week at work.
Mm-hmm.
I have all this stuff going on with the book launch. I can't even write because I just wake up in the morning and I just worry about who I have to call and what I have to organize. But guess what I did? I did a custom raspberry emoji. So if you type raspberry in the chat, if you are a member here, if you're a member of CLOBBY'S subs,
let's take a look.
Mm-hmm. Raspberry now works.
I see it. I never use these enough. Everyone else gets to use them, so now I get to use them.
Good. This one I made sure that it's gonna look super sexy and super real with a black background or a white background. So if you go on night with or your computer switches to night, it should look just as good. Yeah. So there it is. Ask
Nice.
and ye shall receive.
What, did I miss something?
Nice job, Raquel. And Larry gifted 5 Clobbering Times memberships.
Oh, okay. That's what I missed. Thank you, Larry.
He's
Larry.
such a sweet person.
Appreciate you. Anyone, if you're not a member yet and you would like, you would care to be, please avail yourself
Yes.
of that.
Click that little icon, the moose icon on the top left where it says 5, and I think you have to turn something on to accept a gift, but click there or, goggle it, I guess, if you're... I think there's a setting you have to turn on, but
well,
Vic
usually
Fontaine got one good. Yep.
Yeah, usually Chris Persia and Eric K help members get a hold of that stuff. I think Larry helps people with that sort of thing too. But leave it to Larry to offer free memberships to people right when we unveil the Raspberry.
Mike, thank you, Larry.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks,
you,
sweetheart.
buddy. Yep. Well, there you go. I love those emojis. They're the best emojis on YouTube, and you made them.
They are great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you guys enjoy them. So, you know what, guys? I think we're ready. If the boss wants to call it, we could move into
UFO?
our UFO segment. What do you say, boss man?
UFO. I'm a UFO. Everybody, we got another review, folks. In our series of reviewing the Jerry Anderson classic UFO, I mean. Episode number 3, Flight Path. Take it away, number 1. Let's go for it.
Okay, well, Flight Path is season 1, episode 3 as far as the Fandersons go, but it's number 15 on ITV and 12 on Canada Prime. It was first broadcast on January 20th, 1971. I didn't write a summary for this episode like I did with the Tales of Tomorrow. So I'm just going to read from Wikipedia, and if it's wrong or it sucks, don't worry. This team will make sure that you get the proper information. We will interject and correct where necessary. So from Wikipedia, Carol, the wife of Paul Roper, a moon base operative, is being threatened by Dawson, a shadow medical operative under alien control. Roper is blackmailed into feeding false information into SID, the satellite that tracks incoming UFOs. The information being sent to SID will allow a UFO to attack Moonbase using heavy sunspot activity as cover. However, SID reports that some of Roper's data is incorrect, either accidentally or deliberately. Carol is attacked by Dawson, and both are killed. Roper, to defend Moonbase, travels onto the lunar surface with a rocket launcher. No, that's not true, but we'll explain what actually happened.
Yeah. So there is a rocket launcher. Yeah.
Yeah, he manages to destroy the incoming UFO, but the resulting explosion punctures his spacesuit and he dies from oxygen starvation. Oxygen deprivation, not starvation. I'm correct there, right? Like,
you can say oxygen. Correct. You can also say oxygen starvation. I've heard that.
No, I don't.
Usually you wouldn't, but you could say that.
Sure.
No, because starvation.
Well, you're the ones that went to school, not me. So I remember saying.
No, starvation is death by hunger.
Right.
I know, but I've heard that term before. I've heard people use that before.
Well, if you ever hear it again, I want you to deploy shin kicks immediately, and maybe Klingon pain sticks.
You had to go there. You know what's going to happen when you incur the wrath of.
I've heard it before, though. I've heard it before.
Word police.
Hypoxia. Yeah.
Oh yes,
a condition of the body where the tissues are starved of oxygen.
No, that's different than starvation. Come on now, don't start splitting hairs. Starvation is death by hunger or from hunger.
But I did take a few science classes in my day, and they do call that and from first aid and Boy Scouts, sometimes they call it starved. You're starved of
when
oxygen.
They mean deprived, right?
Yes, deprived. But you can't. But starvation is death by hunger.
Yeah.
So it should
True,
be oxygen
yeah.
So it's
deprivation.
a misnomer is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well,
So
those scientists need to learn better, to do better.
yes, and if science people ever use that in front of you, Mark, I want you to promptly send them to grammar class. Just be like, look, you need a couple more units of
Yeah,
grammar.
what do these doctors know about writing, right? You can never read their damn prescriptions anyway when they write stuff.
Yes.
So, fellas, let's talk about it. What
Flight
did you guys
path.
think of this episode?
Interesting. Very good stuff. Very, again, like a lot of these episodes, really very nice slow burn approach to it. It's intense. It's just so. It's such a pleasure to watch this kind of entertainment again. And I know it's a shame you have to go back 50 years to get this kind of stuff, but you do, where it tells its story nicely, neatly, eloquently, elegantly, you might even say. But it has a nice. It has a brutal kick to it. I do wonder. I guess we're spoilering. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put my. Hang on a second.
They put the
We're
spoiler.
supposed to put my damn spoiler alert. So you guys,
Spoil away.
Nope. Go ahead and I'll finish that thought after I fix my banner.
You're gonna
thing
type
here.
up your.
So
your
you go ahead,
spoiler
Mark.
thing,
You
yeah.
talk about it.
Well, look at the cell phone in the car. Like how cool. I mean, just I love the future
The car
tech.
is so cool.
It's so well done. Yeah, and I think they only built like 3 or 4 cars. And shout out to everyone who was in the watch party tonight. Hungry Boy was there, and I think
Cool.
Emerald T. Of course, everyone's there anonymously too. So it's tough to, if you're not logged in. But I'm forgetting who was there. But we had a good crowd there tonight, so that was much appreciated. And I hope you guys enjoy my my slideshow that I put together using. That's the old-fashioned TV, boys and girls, that we used to have as kids. The big console TV that sat on the floor. So so basically the setup here is, as
It's your turn to change the channel, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta get up and change the channel now, Mom. It's Laura's turn to change the channel.
No, it was pretty. And I have some questions actually, since we are doing spoilers. Scuba Pete's here. Oh my goodness.
Scuba Pete.
And this girl was very cute. Hey, Scuba Pete.
He was. And to call him
was hanging
Scuba
out with us
Pete.
tonight. Yep.
He's the king of the Ramba Beach. When he plays the maracas, he goes chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom. Sorry. She was a cutie.
And she had her shotgun readily accessible too. I was surprised at that in the house, and I guess in the English countryside back in the 60s or 80s. Well, about 80s. I don't know what the laws are in England now, but I don't think it's as easy to have a.
It's in the United States.
Was this
What?
England or was this
No.
UK? I always
No.
assumed it was in UK.
No.
What
do
you
I
mean?
know?
What?
No.
The show
I'm
was
serious.
UK.
I thought it was
It
UK.
took place in the UK. It was made in the UK. ITV.
Yeah, but I thought that it was supposed to be I thought it was supposed to be in the United States.
Oh, Harrington.
I was
Stryker.
assumed UK.
Stryker.
Yeah.
There's the thing. I'm never sure, but they do have the steering wheel on the proper side, which means the United States side.
Yeah, it was my understanding. Like I don't have the $500 for the show Bible. I would love to get it. I just don't have the money for it.
I never thought of it though. You're right. It
you guys,
must be because
yeah.
You might be right, Raquel, because I never thought of that till this very minute. I was assuming since it's a British series made over there, I guess, and is made by ITV and a Canadian. It's also, I mean, Jerry Anderson's British. I mean, it's a British. UK is the location according to Larry, but those cars are.
Yeah, and
it's the
I
British
believe it was.
countryside.
I believe that I've read in a couple of places that it was intended for an American audience, so it was meant to feel as though you were in the United States, not the British countryside. I mean, I could be wrong. That explains
the shotgun, I guess.
But yeah, that does explain the shotgun because that certainly wouldn't be the case in the UK, and it wouldn't be the case in
But they were out
Canada.
in the country, though. They were out in the country. They were out in the country, kind of.
Yeah.
Larry's saying UK is the location, but that's a good one to research. Yeah, I never. I just assumed it was UK, but
I can mention they had guns in the country back then. No, a lot. This was like 1970, though the far flung future of 1980.
Yep.
People had guns, but you're right. It's different. It's kind of the cars on the left. I mean, the steering wheel's on the left hand side.
Yeah. Well, Larry's saying the roads and the steering wheel were switched for future UK would switch. And I think what he means is that in the future, they, imagined that the UK would fall in line with the United States. But
they drive on the right side of the road. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm not sure that I agree with that. But that's only because, like I said, like I have a very, very strong recollection of reading that this was meant for an American audience, and that's why we wound up with a Space 1999. And I think when I was doing my Space 1999 research is when I discovered that.
Well, Jerry Anderson's definitely British. There was definitely ITV. If those studios that filmed that was where the ITV, that was definitely Great Britain. And Straker does have a. When you don't even think, but I guess he definitely has an American accent of a sort.
And same with Martin.
Don't they take fly stuff from the States a bunch of times? Like when they need the medicine in one episode.
They
fly stuff in from the United States, though.
They do.
So I think that's why to me it's.
Well, the character in this one, the guy named Paul in this one, the character, he's very British, and so is his wife. So yeah.
Yes, they're even having tea. But this is something that we have to deal with at Clobby's Clubhouse. And so it's our job, everyone, Larry, Scuba Pete, DJ Ronnie G, HB, everybody who's here, Mark, Clobby, we have to find this out. I mean, it's important to know, right?
Also, the cars were built for a Journey to the Far Side of the Sun movie. I remember that movie. Yeah,
the cars are gorgeous.
Yeah, it's everything about the show to me says British except for Straker's accent. And the cars, I guess he's saying. So there you go. Well, there you go. Because
I think the reason why that stands out to me so much is because of Straker's casting with Ed Bishop, and then it's Ed Bishop, right? Yeah, it's Ed Bishop.
Ed Bishop.
And Martin Landau for Space 1999.
Right.
So they really wanted. I specifically remember
American leading
reading.
Guys,
that it had to be Americans for the show.
But everybody else other than Barbara Bain was British on Space 1999. Yeah.
Yep, it's the perfect marriage, and I think that it's just a testament to how good this show is. But I think it was supposed to be for like both audiences, so we shouldn't have any preconceived notions about the rifle. But I do agree with Clobby. Number one, this was conceived of in the late 1960s, so it wouldn't be so weird. People weren't living as densely as they are now. There's also some information about the fact that this was supposed to have an American feel and feel like you're in America, or this international feel with Ed Bishop and Martin Landau. And then there's also this idea that Larry has brought forward that I think is a good idea too. So I think it's a mixture of things, but we won't know until we buy the $500 Bible.
I love this line. People might say, "What's that beautiful girl doing with that old wreck?" And then, and then she has a great cheeky response. "Well, don't worry, I'll tell him I married you for your money."
She didn't.
I just love the dialogue.
She loves him.
But she's making it. She's making a joke. Yeah, but it's just a great cheeky response. Don't worry. So they have a great relationship here, and this is real believable too, because you've got the spy, right? And she doesn't know he's a spy, but they're getting to him through his family. So that's probably the biggest fear of anyone in intelligence or in the military or in the police force or any kind of government position or so. This is really how they get at him. So you really feel for this character. So this is why UFO has got some great storylines. So this is not just this one-dimensional guy who's, selling out his country for, pile of money, or he's really torn, and he's under so much stress. And you see the psychologist giving him the stress test, and he's failing the stress test. So, and Straker and Bishop, they pick up on this, and they know that something's going on and something's not right with him. And they really care about the guy too, so you can tell that they're not just letting don't care what happens to him, or hey, just let's get rid of him. So they do those tests, and of course you find out Bishop is lurking in the woods with a microphone to try to figure out what's happening. But,
all right, Chris Persia,
really great.
Oh, good night,
Chris
sweetheart.
Persia.
We love
good night,
you,
buddy.
Good night, honey.
Take care.
Good night, Chris.
Thanks for the artwork again. Always awesome.
Thanks
Yep.
for
I
you,
like
buddy.
this idea that Larry put up about Ed Bishop too, that saying, you know, Ed Bishop was an American but worked and lived in Canada and the UK. And this is what I mean about it. It's almost like this show forces the ambiguity. They don't want you to be certain of where it is. And it's meant to give that international feel because it's, you know, Earth fighting against these aliens. So I just love it. I think it's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very intelligent. Yeah, all, you know, it's as much as you have some fun space battles, and I love, you know, we love the vehicles, but there's something deeper to this episode, and it's hard hitting, and there's a lot of tragedy in this, and you really feel for the character. So it's not just a pew pew. You know, we don't care what you know. Let's just have a shoot 'em up, and we don't care what happens to these people. And you know, they have the science behind it. Here's the psychologist. You know, in the episode, you know. Now they're trying to find out answers once they found him out, and it moves along pretty quickly too. The show, which is good. It doesn't, you know, waste a lot of time.
That's true.
And it
It's
gets
very
to the
Gene
next thing.
Roddenberry, this idea with
Yeah.
always seeking out the psychologist and the psychology and looking at the data and these evaluations, because, you know, at the time, you know, I grew up in the 70s, and I can definitely tell you that no one was going to see a therapist. I mean, people talk about it now like it's, you know, a slice of toast and jam. But back then, people were, oh, you're going to see a head shrinker? What's wrong with you? You know,
Unless you
sort
lived
of
in
like,
New York City or San Francisco, yeah, but you're 100% right. Yep.
yeah, so it's like this is more of this Gene Roddenberry idea. This and people don't understand that because they don't put it in socio-historical context. But this is more of this Gene Roddenberry-esque idea of this utopian future where people are open to being edified, people are open to personal growth, people are open to receiving help, to exploring their psychological and emotional well-being, which is very, very alien at the time. I can definitely tell you. You're going to see one of those head shrinkers? Yeah, so very, very cool. Anyway, I just wanted to touch base with that a little bit because you mentioned it, Mark, but please take it away again.
Well, yeah, and of course now they're back on the moon, on the space station on the moon, and that's why the ladies they're part of the guild, and that's their uniform to wear the wigs. You know, some people tonight were asking about the wigs in the watch party, so that's Sylvia Anderson's design with the costumes, and you're going to see a lot of really cool curves, and by that I mean geometry tonight and slide rules. So get ready for the slide rule. You're going to see some old school slide rules tonight, which is really cool. So, but they're trying to figure out what the coordinates mean. And then there's a scene coming up, which is really cool. They have a model of our solar system and try to plot it out and figure out, you know, they assume it's, you know, the wife is why he's doing this now that they've threatened his wife. I assume they don't have any children, so they're going after his wife. And you don't know how if it's the aliens, you don't know what's exactly, or it's in another government group. But at this, you know, it's the third episode, but you're assuming it's the aliens as the viewer. Yeah, you're assuming it's the aliens as a viewer, but I wasn't sure if it was another.
How do they operate on Earth? That's never really ever explained.
Yep.
Pardon me?
Yes.
How do they operate on Earth? They know who, you know, they know who everyone is. They know who this guy is. They're obviously, there's the thing about this, and I'm not knocking it. I'm saying it. They have never explained it. Maybe they would have later down the road how aliens can do something like this. How they could know who this guy is. How to, grill him from,
where are they getting their intel
to use him? Right. How are they even on Earth when they can barely? They must have somewhere. They must be hiding somewhere, being able to make themselves able to breathe in some special apparatus, which was sort of. They have an episode that sort of kind of maybe deals with that later, if I remember right. But it is interesting that while they're attacking Earth, some of them are already here.
It's true, and they're body snatching. They're constantly body snatching.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you don't deal with that as much. You probably would have dealt with it much more down the road.
If we would have had more episodes.
Yeah.
One thing I love about this episode before we move on from it, because Mark mentioned it, is that I love that Sid can't figure out what the numbers mean. So Sid is running all of these computations, trying to figure out what the numbers mean. But the guild, the guild of moon-based girls figure it out.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
Harrington who actually is behind all of this. I mean, Nina helps, and of course, so does Gay, but it's really Harrington who brings it home here, to the point where when we get to extrapolating the data further, Gay is sort of short with Harrington and says, do what you did before,
Yeah.
figure this out, because it's Harrington who says, these are planetary coordinates, but something's off here. Something is cooking in this formula, that I can't quite identify, and we need to figure it out. But all of your guys' ideas are wrong. These are coordinates. And so I really love that the guild comes together here to prove, and this is
Well,
another
then they've
very science fiction idea, that computers will never conquer the human mind or human ingenuity or a human's ability, to problem solve. So here we see the guild shine, and we see human beings, doing something better than a computer, which is very cool and a
well,
very, apt for this time period.
well, they make a mistake in the coordinates, so that's what. And here's Straker. That's an old-fashioned slide rule. So, and yeah, Larry says his dad's from the 40s. I got a bunch of my dad's slide rules too. I'll have to find it. But you would slide this. That's why it's called a slide rule. You'd slide the inner piece and the outer piece. You'd line up
Mhm.
the numbers. You had the multiplication tables,
Oh,
the
yeah.
arithmetic tables. So this was basically your calculator. It was fun. My dad showed me how to use it
Mhm.
at one point. It worked pretty well. But that's how you did all your multiplication and all your calculations. That was your calculator back then.
Mhm.
But then the guild, yeah, they figure out that there's a mistake, and because this
Yeah.
person's under so much stress, which makes
Mhm.
sense, that he actually gave two of the wrong coordinates. So he
Yep.
feeds the data into SID, but he fed two of the wrong coordinates into SID. So the aliens were trying to use SID to calculate a method of attack where they could come in onto the moon base and
Yep.
not be detected, which is
Yep.
really great plot thread. Yeah, really
And
really interesting.
Harrington, don't you want Harrington on your math team?
Sure.
I want Harrington on my math team. I just love her,
Yeah.
and I love her deeply analytical mind, because yeah, it's just, she's great, and I just love her. And of course, you guys all know how I feel about Nina Barry and Gay. I just, yeah,
Mm.
my three favorite girls from the guild were there, and yeah, I just love them.
And now we go by the Fanderson guide, which is
Hmm.
basically prod order, a couple of little changes here and there. But this episode actually was shown. If you look up, if you go to the Wikipedia page, normally this, I'm scrolling down to see. I think it's shown number 15 or number. Let's see.
For Fanderson, it's episode 3. ITV is 15. Prime
15.
Canada
Yeah,
is
yeah.
12.
Thank you. Yeah. So imagine seeing this episode as episode 15. It's really out of order. I mean, because this again sets up a lot of the information and how the show works and how the moon base
Have you
works.
noticed the pattern here in this Fanderson one? The pattern is definitely setting up, the logistics of the comms, like
Yep.
how all of these different, aspects of this, this alien fight architecture work. So like, the fact that, Nina Barry is good at certain things, and Gay Ellis is, basically a human computer astrophysicist, and then you've got Joan Harrington, who's like the true deep nerd, and then Peter Carlin is really like the guy who you want to send to get rid of these, omniceptors,
Oh,
and
I got to play this again.
yeah, so
Sorry, but that's the scene in the episode in the slideshow when they crash. So
but you know what I mean, right? Like with the
yeah,
Fanderson ordering, you're really showcasing each person's ability and how they fit into the puzzle of this, foreign, architecture to prevent invasion. And so, I mean, I'm finding it enjoyable. I don't
Oh,
mind
it's
the.
so well done. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
great,
yeah.
great episode. I give this an
Yeah.
A. I mean, the characters are great, and then the moral dilemma too of the of the husband, the UFO agent, and also of the leaders too. So you can tell that they care about this guy as one of them, but then again, when they find out he's a traitor, there's not a lot of sympathy, but I think they understand what why he did it, not excusing it, but and then of course they've got the bigger
Well,
issue. I think
Stricker's not
Stricker
that
faces.
upset. Not after he sees
No,
the dart that was in his brain that was controlling him, right?
no, yeah, but I think they care about him, but then also Stricker said, "Let's get down to business too. We got to protect the
Hmm.
planet." So he's not it's a no nonsense. Yeah, we can't talk in hallways for 30 minutes. I mean, you get maybe a few seconds of.
Are you going to have
of
macaroni and cheese again?
Well, that's good
Yeah, and
stuff.
that's just it, right? And we know that Ed Straker is a total Captain Kirk. He's a James T. Kirk.
Yes.
When he
Very
elects
Kirk.
not to say anything to Paul Roper. And what's really sad, is that Paul dies. And I should say
Yep.
Paul Roper. I should say Roper, not Paul. I should just say Roper
Roper, yeah.
because I don't want to
We got
confuse
another
anyone.
Paul later, yeah. But what
Yeah.
happens to
But
the lady really gets me. I mean,
Roper dies.
I know
And
what
he-
happens.
They both
What
die.
happens to the
They
lady
both die.
gets me though.
Yeah, but Roper
Oh.
dies never knowing that his wife was killed by Dawson.
Well, that was
Because
yeah.
he
That was,
doesn't want him told. Stricker doesn't want him told.
yeah. He says he's going to be risking his life, and I love the way he says he may never need to know.
That's right.
So
Yep.
he lets
Amazing
lets
line.
Paul risk his life not knowing, which was a kindness, but also look, it was the mission needed to happen, and the mission might have been compromised in some way if Paul had been full of remorse. That was a pretty good, very Kirk. I thought a very Kirk strategic decision by Straker, by Straker. And this was brutal. The thing that got me about this was damn, Straker, get some guards over there before that and take care of that
Yeah.
woman. Damn it, Jesus.
And she had another shot in the shotgun too. I don't know
Should've
why
shot him.
just shoot.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense. And when
again,
I first watched it, I didn't
it did make
understand.
sense because it did make sense because it showed that she was frozen in horror. And the thing I don't like about these modern shows is it's just like, why doesn't she just pick up the gun and shoot? That's not the way real life
reality.
works. In real life, if somebody breaks into your house, there's a good chance that you'll just stand there and you might even scream. You might run and hide in your bathroom, or you might freeze on the spot and not know what to do. And you certainly wouldn't be, reaching into the closet and
Do you think she recognized the guy?
I think that's what happened because that's why we focus in on her hand and
she shoots him. She shoots him.
She does.
Right, and she doesn't have a problem shooting through the door.
He falls to the floor. She
and maybe
sees
she
all the
recognized
blood.
him. That's what maybe that froze her.
That's what froze her is because she knows it's Dawson. And now her house is full of blood. She realizes she's killed someone, or at least she thinks she has. He's not fully dead, and he winds up shooting her. But that's what froze her.
I hear that's how they explain it. They explain how he mind controlled. So you wonder, the aliens maybe have a way to get these probes into people and control people.
But one of the clever bits that I don't want to go unmentioned though about the source of storytelling, and again, this puts this so far above the kind of crap we get today, is you have this scene. They don't. You pull back when we see her in horror, and we only hear the gunshot, so we don't know what happened, and we don't know what happened until later. So it could go either way, and then then Straker and Alec talk about it. They tell you, so you don't get any gratuitous violence. You don't get a lot of focusing on gratuitous horrible scene, even though we know it's horrible.
You just see her hand twitch, basically, right?
Right. We don't know what happened though until they tell you.
You don't know, yeah.
But isn't that also a genius move because it also endears it, like it also makes you empathize with Roper. Up until this point, we're like, why is Roper a traitor? Why is he doing this to Straker? Why is he doing this? Billions of people could die. Why is he doing this? And then when we realize why Roper is doing it and that, he basically has no reason to live anymore. His life is over. There's no way he can work for Shadow anymore. And, you know, he wants to go out there and redeem himself. And Straker demands it. Why should anybody else put their life on the line after what he's done? And so, like, in that moment, you're thinking to yourself, like, it allows you to think of what Roper would have been thinking. Like, I wonder, is my wife okay? Is my wife okay? Is my wife okay?
Yeah.
And so in that, it's sort of like the authors are binding you to that character, so you feel at least a little of what he might have felt if he were real.
Yep.
And I think it's a stroke of genius.
Don't they lie to him?
Yeah, they lie to him.
Or do they just tell him, or do they just not tell him? Like, I don't remember.
I think she said she's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Zathras, hey, but good to see you there. So, but again, that Straker being the commander he has to be, being the cold bastard that he has to be, because he's trying to protect the Earth, and he's got to make decisions.
He volunteers. Yeah, and he volunteers, right? He knows it's basically a suicide mission, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think now again, my question about this one, this is just me. As far as when you question any kind of writing, the show's usually beyond question, but I think I would have had a couple more guys out there to back up just in case. It's too important to let this thing go out there. Either that, or why don't they have interceptors out there firing at this thing? They're trying to catch it off guard, I guess.
Yeah, they're trying to trap
guys out there.
Yeah,
I thought there should have been interceptors launched yet, or they should have explained it somehow, like the sunspots messed up the navigation of telemetry, and we can't fly or something, because they did say they were losing some of the viewing. They couldn't see some things that were happening. It was the sunspots were affecting.
Yeah,
that's why the invader, the aliens were coming at this point.
It's fine.
But they should have had a line in there explaining.
We did need.
That was a great shot there.
Yeah,
and that was a great shot. I probably would again. It fit the drama that he's out there and he gets killed, but which is a shame, because it's like, it takes this one little bitty teensy weensy little tear in his suit, which is, they don't have, but then again, they don't have the kind of technology in Star Trek, so that makes sense. I might have had like a couple of guys out there shooting at the thing, because what if one of them misses?
Or handing them ammo or something,
and backing each other up. But then again, you don't get the dramatic effect of him tearing his suit just a little bit after all he's been through, and then he's dead.
And also when the omniceptor, I forget what Nina calls it, but I love Nina Barry, when it goes behind some of the rock formations.
Yeah.
And you realize, he might not get this thing. Could you imagine if he doesn't get this thing? And so I agree with Clobby, because it ruins that the opportunity to create that anxiety on screen.
Yeah.
If you have more than one guy, right? It's like he alone put the whole world at risk. So he alone must face these creatures who have killed his wife, even though he doesn't know that they have killed his wife.
Yep.
Except when the whole space station's at risk, though, too. That's the base. If he misses, right, everyone's going to die, right?
Yeah, the guild and all of the pilots.
Because they do have some episodes where the space station is breached, I believe. We're going to be very, very vague, but it's not. You're on the moon, so it's not. It's the moon is a harsh mistress, right? So it's and unfortunately he's all out of Flex Seal in this scene.
Nice.
He should have had Flex Seal.
Science fiction book title right there.
Yeah, and he just should have had a red-green moment where he just put some gap tape or duct tape or whatever you want to call it on it. Just call it a day.
And the girls are really concerned.
Sorry,
you've read that one? Yep.
Yeah, the moon is the harsh mistress.
Oh.
Heinlein, right?
Yeah,
Heinlein,
I believe so. I like that this thing has a bubble.
Yeah, that made sense actually. Yeah, that you would have a bubble. Yep, and the gals are very concerned about him too. They're telling him everything's gonna be all right.
There's my
got a
Harrington.
hopper out there. Yep.
My Harrington. I love Harrington. She is the super nerd on the Mathlete team.
There's a great line here. Yeah, tell Straker, tell.
Yeah.
Let's even things up. Yep.
Yep.
So he knows he's going. Yep. So
God, Gay is beautiful, hey? Gay is so beautiful. Nina's beautiful. Joan's beautiful. Yeah, so really good. Also, did you guys see the self-winding watch? I miss my self-winding watch.
I've got one, the Star Trek one.
I also miss the single
Love it.
beds in the Roper home.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too.
So
Yeah,
good.
but they said that sometimes couples do sleep a lot better if they have single beds.
Yeah, especially if one like really snores or kicks or does the crocodilian death roll with the blankets. Yeah, I could see it, but nah. Also,
Or
I
king
love
size beds help too. Yeah.
yeah, I love Peter Carlin. I think he is just, you know, I think he's just the coolest person.
Which one?
Peter Carlin. He flies Sky One.
Okay, yeah.
I just think he's such a cool pilot, and do you know that he's Burmese? Anyway, I just think
wasn't he around just for the earlier episodes, and he's one of the ones they got rid of.
No, I think Peter stays. Peter is Sky One pilot. I'm pretty sure.
We got from the first episode, right?
I don't know. Now that I'm watching it in a different order, it might be my problem because this is episode 15 in the way that I was watching it. Because I was watching it ITV way, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. You watch it the other way.
Yeah. So now I can't speculate on that. I'll sound like a nincompoop.
Out of order.
You're out of order.
You're out of order.
You're out of order.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at the order. Well, we'll finish up with this one. Then we'll talk about the next. About the order from a minute.
Yeah, so I loved this episode. It's not my favorite episode. For me, like this is basically like TOS, minus the final corporate season that wasn't even written by my Holy Trinity. So basically, like this entire show is A's for me. There are not going to be any B's, just like there are no B's for me in true TOS written by my Holy Trinity. But this one, I didn't like the fact that, Roper is put out there, to do this on the moon by himself. I get what they were trying to do, but it's just, I would have liked to have something more substantial in that circumstance. There's my P. So this one for me is going to be an A minus. But obviously it's still an A because, I mean, let's face it, all UFO is A. It's always A, but it's an A minus.
I hear you. They I guess I would have probably liked to have seen a little bit more. First of all, that guy's been through a lot. I'm not so sure Greatest Straker is. I think I probably want a more stable guy out there at that point. I'm Wallaby's minion.
Hey, and the pepperoni.
Yeah, and the pepperoni.
The pepperoni.
I gotta find him for. Oh, there. Semi. Pepperoni.
Yeah, Club.
There. I think
I agree with you, Captain.
Because in other words, probably not the best decision to send the guy who's just been through all this crap out there. Send someone more stable that hasn't had any kind of emotional connection to this. And if you do send him out, for God's sake, send a couple of you got plenty of guys there, put a couple other men with him as backup. This is too important. So that might be a stretch in this. It doesn't.
And he failed the psych test too, right?
Failed the psych. Yeah, that doesn't take away from an extremely well written, intense story that this show is so great at doing. So I'm going to go with a B plus.
You're a
Mark?
B plus on this one. Yep.
Sure.
I'm going to go with the. I originally said A, but I agree. I go with the B, the A minus. I can see Clobberin times the B plus, but yeah, those are a couple of little minor flaws that kind of, when you say, wow, you can't do that on this episode. But I just love the drama, the psychology behind the characters and their motivation. I think that really.
But when you kill a hot baby, you deserve to lose some points. But
yeah. I just think
she gives a good fight though too, which is she's not a walkover either. So she's willing to grab that shotgun and defend herself too.
Yeah.
But it's really a lot of thought behind all these episodes, which I just love, and of course how cool are the gadgets and the planes and the vehicles. I mean,
except
it's
for Star
just
Trek.
the best. Yeah, these are just what. Look at this, the jet that was landing. That's so. I mean, we did have vertical. They'd been researching vertical flight, and You know, but I don't remember when the Harrier came out. I think it was late 70s. But anyway, it's just such a
Pete
cool
hovers in
futuristic
Sky
take.
One. Did you notice that?
Who's in Sky One?
Pete Carlin. He hovers
Okay.
in Sky One in
Oh
this
yeah,
episode, which
yeah,
I
yeah.
absolutely love. Like, do you see why I put this UFO so high on my science fiction television list? I mean, this guy Jerry
Look, phone in the
Anderson,
car.
his machines are wow, they're
best, yeah.
amazing. Like, they're so futuristic, they're so beautiful and realistic, and they're just, I love them. And seeing Pete hovering in Sky One when that omniceptor is there, wow, you're just thinking to yourself, oh, this is just, people are just inspiring engineers all over the place in here. Anyway.
Yeah. No, that's just raises the bar. You know, some of the footage you can tell after a while is you know, reused, but doesn't matter. It's just so good. And a lot of tension and drama and you know, in this episode too. So it was a real thriller, you know, scary in some
Lisa's
ways.
here.
Yeah. Hey Lisa.
And Matthew Pounder.
Hey
Hey,
Matthew. So yeah, this is scary and well done. And
yeah.
the only thing that can be kind of confusing, you're not sure if they're on, as a person maybe watching the series, you know, if they're Straker's on the moon base or in the Hollywood studio, but then you pick up on that and then you recognize the sets, but that can be kind of confusing too. It's like, am I on the moon right now? Or you know, if you're just watching, this is your third episode. So
yeah, if this is just your third episode, which is why maybe they chose the ITV order. Do you recall, if you wouldn't mind indulging me, do you recall what Straker called the car again? Because it's the one and only time I believe that he calls it something. What does he call it again? The bronze. He calls it the bronze something.
Huh.
I wish they published the script.
I can search the script. Actually, I have the script. So
do you? Can you please?
Well, yeah,
search?
because it's on. Yeah, let me search it. Yeah, well, because it's the the subtitles. That's why I have the
yeah. Can you do me a favor?
Here.
Can you please?
Well, here's the script. Yeah.
Command F and look up bronze, because he actually says the name of the car.
See if he says, if we can find bronze in here. No, we cannot find bronze. Let's see if they say car. Let's see.
No, he calls it bronze something. He left in a bronze.
Yeah, unless
Straker says it.
Bronze. Let's see. BRONZ. I'm spelling this right?
I can't see. Bronze is BRONZE.
Yeah, right. Yep. So this is the timestamps. Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember when he said that.
Yeah, because the little blurb afterwards gave us the actual shadow designation for that particular vehicle. Because after this, we start going in the purple vehicle, which has like the Jag headlights instead of the bronze.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, there's the subtitles. I'll go look through it and see if I find it. Yeah, but it's the cars are just gorgeous.
Yeah,
so really cool.
But the second that I heard that, I was like, that's something Mark would want to know. I'm going to ask him about that on the show. So yeah, it's a bronze. So
here we go. Oh no, we just passed the Rampton flyover. That's maybe the name of the car.
He says he just left in a bronze.
I know that, but then this is when they're I'll send the guards to his house, and we just passed over the Rampton flyover. Maybe that's the name of the car. I just
remember a Straker saying he just, because
that.
Freeman lets him go. Alec lets him go. He doesn't wait an hour like Straker told him to. And so we hear he just left in a bronze.
Right?
Yeah, he did say bronze. I was trying to remember that too. What he said about the
right.
And why did he let him? I'm looking for that. Why did he let him out early too? What was the reason?
Because Alec felt that Straker's call was immoral. See, Alec is like
Alex
is
okay.
Alec is Straker's Spock and McCoy all in one. So sometimes you're going to hear Alec take Straker to task for something that he's done where he's overdoing it or he's being illogical or whatever. And here he feels like not letting Roper go early, but the fact that Straker announced it to everyone makes it too much of a sort of fish in the barrel situation. And he wants to give Roper
him a chance, right?
Because remember, Alec's the one walking around with his head dart in his hand, and he's the one who presents the head dart to Straker. So, and that's really going to affect Alec because Alec really cares about everyone who works there. He is so loving and caring towards everyone who works there, the women and the men. This guy is also a leader. He just has a much different style than Straker. He's like Straker's conscience.
Hey there, Christopher Dominguez. By the way, I didn't get to say hello to Matthew Pounder and Lisa. I had to run off for a sec. So good to see you both for being here. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Number one, I was going, the bronze, and I couldn't. I mean, he said it. Now I'm totally forgetting.
He does say, I'll rewatch it and I'll get the name for you. But it's important because this is episode 15 for ITV. So you don't notice it as much. You notice it's pronounced in Fanderson. Order watch that we get the purple car afterwards, and the purple car also has a name, so it's just important.
I'm
to
scrolling
know,
through
right?
the subtitles now, reading it. I'm rereading the episode. But you love that's when you really like a show, you try to figure out those things.
I love that.
People are like, people years later, like, what do you mean? How the heck do I know? You asked one of the actors, God bless it. Like, what was the name of the car? And
well, Clobby asked us that. Don't you remember? Because Clobby's like, look, man, I love that car. That's a cool car. When you're pulling up somewhere in that car. So like when he said it on this rewatch, I was like, oh, I need to remember that. Mark's gonna want to know that. Clobby's gonna want to know that. It's a bronze.
Bronze.
But it's a top notch episode, and the whole series holds up. Do you think there's any stinkers in this whole series? Wouldn't say there's zero stinkers,
don't
right?
Say that. Wow. What's wrong
No, but you know how
you?
people say there's Spock brains, but I'm just saying.
Number one, alternative factors in the first season of Trek, so anything can happen. It can happen to anybody.
I know. Okay, well, I do love to make fun of alternative factors.
Yeah, bad's bad. Let's be fair.
I know, but
no, I don't think there is one. I'm looking at the list of episodes because we need to get to that in a second. And I've only watched them all the way through once, and I don't think so. There was one. No, I think there was one that I thought was pretty loopy, but I laughed at it. I don't think it was that bad. They had some crazy stuff in one of them. So maybe there is one, but I'm gonna have to. We'll find out. This is not going to be like
everybody's making fun of my Canadian accent in the chat. Clobby,
are they? You have an accent?
Yep.
You always accuse me of having an accent. I know I don't. So
I'm in deep trouble because I said Zed, boss.
Well, yeah, you should be. It's Z.
You should say zebra.
Zed.
Is Z.
Don't make me sick my Australian. New Zealand,
I thought it was only Zed in
Lord Zed.
Only Zed in Britain.
No, it's Zed in Canada and Zed in New Zealand and Zed in Oz. And
doesn't make any sense though, because Zed's a word. Z-E-D is Zed.
No.
Who decided to make one letter? Why did you turn one letter to sound like a word with three letters in it? Who did that? Was the man named Zed?
Stick it up for me. He's like, it's Zed.
Well, but listen to a story about a man named Zed. Warm out there, really give us in the bed. When one day Zed was shooting at the food and up and around them bowling crude. Oil
that is. Black
Texas
gold. Texas tea.
Well, the first thing you know, old Zed's a millionaire. The kid folks said,
Zed,
move on from there. Said California is the place you ought to be, so they loaded up the truck and they moved the Zedderies.
Hills, that is. Swimming pools and movie stars. Well, now it's time to say goodbye to Zed and all his friends. And they would like to thank you, folk, for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heap and helping of our hospitality.
I had to stop myself. I have a real filthy version of that.
I know.
You have no idea.
Watch it.
Through it. I'm talking. It's evil. It's mean.
I know. It's depraved.
It's really depraved. If you heard it, Raquel, you'd probably never talk to me again.
You won't.
It's that
You
bad.
won't. You look. You've already warned me about it, and you've told me not to ask.
No, if you,
so I don't even ask.
don't. It's all. I don't. Yeah, it's just because see, you make up something like that to sound ridiculous and outrageous. You never want anyone to actually hear it because if they don't know you, they're gonna go, "Wow, you're a horrible person." No, I just like to sound like one because it's fun.
Yeah.
One
Only
day,
in private.
Minimus, and Clobby on the porch.
That's gonna be.
Yeah, we
us.
did. We had some lyrics to a Metallica song that, it could get us a lot of trouble. That we'd rewrite the lyrics.
Look, I'm so glad we didn't have recording devices in our pocket when we were kids. You kids today, look, I don't care how soft. We rightfully criticize them for being soft, narcissistic, and pampered. But the one thing that they do have that is a problem that we never had when we were kids is they walk around with recording devices in their damn pocket. And they can be filmed doing all kinds. We got filmed doing half the stupid crap we did as kids, or even just said, like we say something really crazy or mean or horrible just to be outrageous to make your friends laugh. You can't do that anymore.
No.
Not in public. So anyway, of course, I'm probably in trouble. I probably would have been recorded by my phone saying that. So next week, I need to be clear.
I just want to say, here's the one line. Suspect driving east on Route 4 in a shadow car.
No,
So they call it a
bronze shadow car.
He says bronze.
Well, maybe the subtitles could be wrong, but they call it a shadow car.
But
I'm going to change it right
shadow
here.
car.
It
gonna
is.
change it right
I just
here.
looked it up on the Fanderson on the shadowlibrary.org. Suspect driving east on Route 4 in bronze shadow car.
Right. There you go.
They call it shadow car.
Good.
I just fixed the subtitles. Well, subtitles have mistakes a lot of times. So
There you go.
There you go. So, all right.
So we were right. It was shmrmrmr.
It was that. It was shadow car. Because I think you were like me. Now, since we'd forgotten already, you were thinking maybe he said some kind of the model or make.
Yeah.
But he just said shadow car.
Shadow car.
Bronze shadow car. Bronze shmrmrmr.
So number 4 in the Fanderson. my Fanderson says number 4 should be next week. I should watch episode 5.
Survival. Yep. Episode 5. Yep.
Holy Kawasaki, really?
No, Exposed.
Yep. Survival. And because Exposed was actually.
What?
It was actually filmed. It was. I think the film order was different.
Yeah.
It's May 13th, and this was.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. So Survival's next.
Survival is what we're going to look at next.
Yeah.
But the numbers are switched.
They got them switched around. Yeah.
It's supposed to be Exposed, then Survival.
No, but they go. Yeah.
Prod says that Survival was produced before Exposed, so no Paul Freeman this week.
Oh, let's see. So Fanderson, 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait a minute. If we go by the Fanderson order.
Yeah.
Right.
Look. It's Exposed.
Oh, it's Exposed. It is Exposed. You're right.
Listen,
it is Exposed.
No.
Exposed.
Yeah, Raquel, no.
Oh, well, my Fanderson order is different. I'm looking at
it
right now.
Look at you, dirty varmints.
All right, Fanderson, I'll tell you what I got in mind. It says Fanderson, 1, 2, 3. That's, of course, identify, computer, affair, and flight path, right? And then it has 5, then 4 on mine. Did I get an outdated one?
If you click on the little doohickey here, so it.
But here's why it says that. The prod order, according to what I'm looking at, right in front of my stupid face, says after flight path is Survival, then Exposed.
But then if you look over at the Fanderson, it's 4, 5. If you use the little pull down menu, don't go thingamabobber. I'm telling you, it's Exposed then Survival.
Yeah. But I think there was something
about.
Maybe I got an old one.
There's a reason why. Oh, prod order. Oh, you know what it is?
What?
The prod order was they made Exposed after Survival.
But look at the date. No, that's the original air date. Can you please click on there?
There was something funky. There was something funky about why they here. Let me go to the Fanderson guide here.
Well, I'm so confused right now because I copied it and put it and saved it.
Into a file.
Computer affair, right?
Because you're the best boss.
Flight path, right?
It's different.
And then Survival.
Mm-hmm.
And then
but
there's
look,
a reason.
Filming schedule Friday 6th, Wednesday. Hey, Wednesday 18th.
Right.
1969.
Sure. Okay, well then what about Exposed?
Right. So let's look at Exposed.
Yeah, so that means yes, Survival comes next.
And then Exposed.
So yeah, according to it's the Fantasy order is right then, because it's but so I got 1, 2, 3. They were all the first 3 we watched are the right order. Then mine says 5, then 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It goes in a straight line again until it starts.
Well, that's June 1969 for Survival. And then for Exposed, what is the date for Exposed again? Just so that I can commit this to memory. And then Exposed is July. So Clubby's right. That's July 1969.
Yeah.
Now I just looked
original
at
air date.
You know what? The Fanderson order. That's the only things that are flipped around as far as episodes.
That's
are
right.
5
That's
and
right.
4.
Okay,
Rest are
honey.
in proud order.
All right, baby. We're doing
Weird.
Survival then. Everybody, make a note of that because we're following the Fanderson. So we are all watching Survival for next week.
Why did
I think they made a mistake. They made a mistake on this list here. Then.
Oh, say it ain't.
Oh
so
no! Here we go.
Wikipedia
Yeah, here we go.
blows.
Survival. No, here we go. No. It's right. Survival. Yep, they got Survival next. Yep, they got Survival.
Well, then why does mine? Never mind.
I think right if I click this.
Never mind.
Yeah, look, it changed it. It changed
it.
Something's
really
wonky.
Hello, Michelle.
I think this is right
Michelle.
now. I think Survival's next. Forget the number, but Survival is next. Yeah.
Okay, now my head is gonna.
My head's gonna explode. Let's just do
hell?
Survival.
We're doing Survival next. Yeah.
Foul yard. I don't say so. Rail yard, foul yard, stock yard, knackers yard, boat yard. I love that episode.
Yeah, so go by this list here. This is the Fanderson list. This is in order. We don't have to click any triangles to get it in order. So then Survival
we're doing Survival next week.
Yep.
Yeah, but this list isn't always right either. Because when you read it on air one time, Clobby and I were like, that's not what the summary is. That is incorrect. And Clobby was right, said, you are correct. That is incorrect.
You are correct, sir.
So Fanderson isn't ironclad either, but I am more inclined to follow Fanderson, even though they have a few boo-boos of their own.
Right.
When you put it up against the gong show that is Wikipedia.
Yeah, they had something. There was something about there was an article or something on this site about why they did this order. If I find it, it was some kind of fact.
This was easier with the prisoner order. Although they argue about that too, so
they do argue about that, right? Yeah,
they do. I like Clobby's order for the prisoner.
It ain't my order. I didn't make it. They did.
Well, I know, but you introduced me to the prisoner, so I just say that on air. So you're just going to have to get used to taking credit for it because when somebody introduces me to a show, I give them credit for it. Anyway,
I'm trying to remember that. I think that's the 6 of 1 order. Let's see.
I liked your order because I started. Somebody told me to just watch it in this other order that's on the internet. I started watching it and I was like, what is happening? Then I watched it in your order and I was like, oh, wow, this is happening. So I actually went back and I just followed the way you watch it. And it was really enjoyable. And it made made far more sense as to who was in control of the village and how things were going to go down.
Well, I'm looking at it now again, as I often do. And all you really have to, if you stay with the first few, it's actually now I'm looking at a different.
Then it goes proud order. Yeah.
No, go ahead. That's a weird
order.
order.
You're right. Yep. I'm trying to find that article.
What are you looking at? On what?
Well, I was just trying to find that they had an article about why they went in that order. I'll try to find it after.
Oh, that's cool. And they got some weird fan orders of the prisoner, though. I don't really.
They do.
Thing is, for the longest time, though, number one, I just watched the regular old order I would switch things around, but it didn't matter because, if you were just sitting around cold and said, hey, that show's on, you watch it. You don't know about order. You just watch it. And it was great. I fell in love with it without knowing any of that kind of stuff. It was decades for when the internet came around and told you need to watch this order. So it didn't matter much. But fan order is fun for people who already love the show mainly and just like to say, oh. But the thing is, McGowan said only 7 episode counts. Well, I'm sorry, I love all 17, even like 2 episodes that are the weakest ones. The DVB. Hello there.
Hello.
So yeah, I love them either way. I mean, but yeah, it is kind of. it's good to watch them in that order that I sent you. But I think that's the 6 of 1 order. The big.
For me,
Fan club.
it has a big impact on how much I believe and what I think of number 2.
Yeah, because I hear the unmutual website order, the McGowan 7, look at all these different orders.
Yeah.
What are the alternate episodes? What are the episodes? I like the unmutual website order. Arrival, Dance of the Dead, Free for All, Check Mike, Time to Big Ben. Okay. That makes sense. The general. Yeah, that's the order. I think that's it. Yeah. I think that's the right
It does affect how you feel about number 2.
Well, in what way would you say?
Just like the concepts, I think it's just different. It's more believable. And I think in the order that I was watching, you have
No, I heard you. I think that's what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Because you have the repetition of that one, and I forget the actor who is repeated. Oh,
Leo
I have
McKern.
to watch The Prisoner again.
Leo McKern.
Yeah.
The best of the number 2s.
The best of the number 2s.
Greatest.
And you're like, okay, so what's happening now? Because it makes you wonder about how that power structure works, because you're almost in fear that if they can't do their job, that they might be offed. And so, I just think that it really affects the amount of danger you feel from and for number 2. So when I watched it in your order, I felt like it heightened the fear for and from 2 in a way that the other order it didn't. You're just in the other order, you're sort of like thinking to yourself, okay, what's happening with 2? Why are we? What is the nature of 2? And the way I watch it with yours is, it's like, oh, I know exactly what's going on here, and this is super scary. So, do some people survive this too, or are they killed or reprogrammed or released into the village, or what's like? You have lots of questions when you watch it for the first time, and there's a huge learning curve, right, as you're immersed in it. So anyway, I just preferred your order, and you introduced me to The Prisoner, so I call it your order. I like.
Well, I'm proud to have that. I love how there's some people that tell people only to watch the McGowan 7. I say, you crazy? Why would you give up 10 episodes?
How could you only watch 7?
Yeah, no.
Once you love the show, right? Yeah.
I mean, McGowan did say that. And one time, McGowan was flippant. One time, we said when some people tried to get him to talk about the other ones, he goes, some of them weren't too bad. Shut up, man. Come on, they're all great.
Yeah.
I mean, now there are a couple that were kind of lesser, but
Yeah, but I agree with Mark.
Yeah.
Once you fall in love with the show, how would you not even want to sate your curiosity? Because at that point, I would go out of my mind if I didn't watch the rest of them.
Oh,
you have to watch the rest of them.
You got to rush them. And the order's weird, but you can. I mean, in fact, you have to. You just got to get the first few right, because the last 2, of course, are also the McGowan episodes.
Mm-hmm.
The whole deal was he wanted, Lord Lou Grade, who ran ITV, wanted 26. And McGowan said, well, I want to do 7. He said, I can't. What can I do with second syndicate?
7 episodes.
What am I going to do with 7? Didn't have many series back then.
You could have done it
McGowan was
now,
ahead of his
but
time.
yeah.
He'd be perfect for Netflix now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which is why one episode he wasn't even there, because he was filming the movie Ice Station Zebra with Rock Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see that movie?
No, but no.
Oh, Mark, you ever see that? And that's a cool movie. It's Ice Station Zebra. It was rumored that was
Zebra, boss man.
Ice Station Zebra. It was rumored that was Howard Hughes' favorite movie. Rock Hudson, Patrick McGowan had a pretty good cast. It was a Cold War spy thriller that took place in a submarine in the Arctic.
Nice.
Not one lady in the whole movie, but still good.
No, well,
all men.
I don't care. You know what
I
I
know
mean?
that. I know you don't. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the Foundation series, people are like, oh, until like the 7th book that there's a woman in it. So, I didn't notice, not until you said something.
They made a
stuck
joke
inside of a dude's head. You're okay. It's all right to be stuck inside of a dude's head for a while. It's not like you have to be like,
I saw an interview with Rock Hudson once when he was him, and I think it was he in an interview sitting there with Doris Day or something when he was getting older toward the end of his life. We all know how he passed and stuff.
Poor guy, yeah.
And he said, someone asked him, "What is your favorite movie?" And he made a joke about himself. He says, "Ice Station Zebra," and she started laughing at him because it's all dudes.
Oh, that
Well,
would be terrible.
they were stuck under the ice.
Yeah.
Well, I will definitely watch that. That sounds
You
good.
ever saw
to
that
me.
one, Mark?
I
Oh, that's a
can't
classic.
remember now. I've probably seen
Spy
it
thriller?
years and years ago. Yeah.
No, Darius Munchausen, we say zebra in Canada, but I don't know how it's said in the UK.
Zebra?
They might
no.
say zebra in the UK. They in the UK they pronounce things very strangely, and Americans and people all over the world need to realize that that's the thing about Canada. Canada is very special because we're a Commonwealth country, and there are actually a couple of podcasts where linguists
Zebra.
talk about this. We have 1 foot in the USA and 1 foot in the UK because we're a Commonwealth country. So we totally understand Americans, but we speak like we're still from the UK. But we also understand American culture. So it's really funny when you get like the hardcore UK people on with Clobby. I always joke around and say that I'll act as an interpreter for the people from the UK for the Americans and vice versa. So it is quite a unique circumstance because Canadians we're exposed to both and we love both, right? So Canadians are different.
Yep.
This is this was rumored to be Howard Hughes' favorite movie.
Wow.
And was it what did I do wrong? Oh, and it was he left filming an episode of The Prisoner to go do this movie, so they had to find a way for him not to be in his own body. And they made the episode "Do Not Forsake Me, Oh My Darling," which is not really a great, but it was a body swap. Look at that. Rock Hudson, Ernest Borgnine, Patrick McGowan, and Jim Brown.
Oh yes, HB, you're getting to exactly to what I'm talking about. And when you're a Canadian, you're really, really torn because you can spend a lot of time. Like we have a lot of people from Australia living in British Columbia and living in the mountain parks. And I live in like basically the foothills of the mountains of the Canadian Rockies. And yeah, like you hear dynasty and then you hear dynasty. And so it is a wonder being a Canadian because we try to use it all. And people are very sure of their pronunciation, even when they should not be sure. And people from the UK are pretty bad for it, but I think the Americans might be the worst for it. Like
we don't have accents, so we never pronounced anything wrong. So
this
is like
when
I went to meet my grandma the first time in Europe, and she was saying my name like Mark. I'm like, Dad, why is Grandma saying my name wrong?
Yeah,
I knew he was making a Z joke, but
I love it. I love it when like people from Iceland talk about comic book lovers calling the Bifrost, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce Bifrost in Icelandic, but it does not sound anything like Bifrost. So there's like this Icelandic comedian that's quite popular here in Canada, and he does a whole bit on it. And he does a whole bit on like the difficulty of pronouncing things according to their country of origin and how they're anglicized and changed in different countries, especially in America. So it's quite neat. It's and of course you guys know my history of teaching English and stuff. So it's super, super interesting to me. I love it. Did you see that video that I liked? Maybe it appeared in your feed because that's the way the algorithm works. But a couple of days ago, they had a video from the 1970s of linguists recording this very small fishing village, I think in and around the area of Maine, where the accents had not changed since the 1600s. And with the advent of television at the end, this elderly gentleman says that it's destroying this beautiful little snapshot of our past because of Walter Cronkite. He says, we all sound like Walter Cronkite now. But for the first, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 minutes of the video, it just shows what Americans sounded like in the 1600s, or when the first arrivals, with the accents from that time. And yeah, I think they said, what is it, 1648? Let me go get you the name of it.
The old chocolate Walter Cronkite.
But my husband started laughing. He's like, "You're such a linguistics nerd. I bet you just love this
Yes.
video." I was like, "Andy, this is the greatest video ever. I've never seen it before."
He's in the Arctic, and he's going. He took a brief run. He took a brief trip from the village to make this movie. He goes, "I will not be pushed, stamped, filed, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. But it's cold here. Oh my God!" There he is. That's right when he was making The Prisoner.
Oh, here
then he
it
got
is.
back and he hated the episode. So what are you doing?
Okay, the isolated island of Tangier, Virginia, has one of the most unusual dialects in the United States. Although it's not Elizabethan English, it sounds the way people spoke 200 years ago. It's a linguistic time capsule. And it's posted by a guy by the name of Brian Ramel. And it's just fantastic when you hear the way that people were speaking 200 years ago. And yeah, I was just totally blown away by it. Anyway, accents are so interesting.
Indeed they are. Good one, Herc. And I know this. Yes, Ice Station Zebra was Hugh's favorite movie. He would call from his Las Vegas condo to one of his TV stations and get them to broadcast the movie. You always knew when you saw it, it was Howard. Wow. I mean, imagine that. The days before VCRs and then that kind of stuff. You think he'd have been able to afford to get like a print of the thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But he's just so quirky, the guy.
Yeah, he didn't care. He just called the station and said, "Show this movie."
Yeah, he bought like ice cream one time. I remember he just loved one flavor of ice cream, and he just bought like a year's supply of it or something, and then he got sick of it. So I think they were giving it out for free or something. Yeah, a banana nut. Yeah, it was banana nut ice cream. Yep. So then they, like when you went to his casino, and they had to give it out because he bought so much of it. Yeah. Just great. He just had so many eccentrics, but he was a brilliant guy. He invented the hospital bed when he crashed his airplane. I just love his invention. So, he had that high-speed aircraft that the propellers were spinning in opposite directions. So when one of the that's why one of the reasons why it crashed, because he pulled the wrong way, and he's a great flyer too, a fantastic, very talented guy. So he was burned.
Matthew Pounder.
Yeah.
Before he went crazy. Yeah. But he was severely burned in that crash, and he's sitting in just a regular bed. And of course he's like, well, how can I improve this? He's like, this is crazy. I need to sit up or to do things or, to get in out of the bed easier. So he designed in that hospital bed when he was hurt. Well, in the regular bed, he designed the modern hospital bed that was motorized. So that's Howard Hughes. And yeah, the Spruce Goose was amazing. So he's an as we make fun of him, but he was an amazing inventor. His father was in the drilling business for oil, and he improved upon the drilling bit. So he invented, a bit that could go, much deeper and faster and more reliable for drilling oil. And that's how the company took off. But just a brilliant, involved in Hollywood and aircraft. And so, who's the Aviator does a great job of portraying that, because you just remember the guy with the long fingernails living in the hotel, unfortunately, and there's quite a lot of he was a genius. He was a real genius. So it's a shame, obviously had mental health problems, but just the hospital bed. That's Howard Hughes.
Cool.
Snail Messiah says, Raquel, you should check out Jackson Crawford speak Old Norse with a person who speaks Old English. I think you'd appreciate it. Yeah, I absolutely love that sort of thing, Snail Messiah. That's one of the reasons why I went to Cambridge. During my undergrad, I really, really gravitated toward the linguistics classes. And I never felt dumber when I thought that I understood all of these pronunciations, and I really thought that, that what I heard and then repeated was correct. And then I started learning about everyone's different languages and the way that things are said in mother tongue and how much is anglicized. And it's a real eye opener. So now I make sure that I'm very open and honest about the fact that 100 people in a room could pronounce a word one way and be absolutely certain that it's correct, and I know that it's not. And so you can push back against that and sort of say, hey, you should go and hear the mother tongue. You should go and hear how this word is actually said and learn about its anglicization, or you could just not. And sometimes people are open. Generally, CLOBBY'S, the people who follow CLOBBY and the people who follow MARC, they're generally academic people and they're intelligent people. So they'll give me stage to venture in talking about that a little bit. But it is incredibly interesting. The more actually you know about pronunciation, the less sure you become about absolutely everything you say. You're scared sometimes. You think to yourself, wow, solecism all around me. So anyway, thank you for that. I will check that out.
Ezra, no, I have not seen the Orson Welles documentary F for Failure. I have not seen that, I'm afraid. Good one, huh? There you go. Orson Welles. Orson Welles really almost got us all killed with those red electroids, just saying. Buckaroo Banzai hadn't stopped him. Just saying. So, yeah, there you go. I'm just, pointing that out because we all need to see Buckaroo Banzai in person. My name is John Parker. Sorry, movie quotes and habits. Well, so what else is going on, my friend? Should we start? I know it's a late night for Raquel.
Well, I could show that.
If you got anything,
I could show the what we did for the box opening or the open box.
We'll leave that up to Raquel. She's the one that probably has things to do. A life going on. I don't have one.
Well, I'm doing them. It is a school night. So I should be moseying along, but you know what? If we can get through it in 10 minutes, I say let's
take less than 10 minutes. Yeah, it's a quickie.
Shit.
Just a quickie.
Okay, let's do it.
It's a quickie. Right. Yeah, here, let me put the camera on. It's just a fun one. So here, let's let me switch my microphone over.
Are we back to the punk Funko Floco or whatever?
Well, no, you're gonna show Funko Pops. If I hadn't known that, I would have been like, no.
Well, there's other stuff with it, so.
Okay.
So the box came, and I thought Con looked good with your book in the background there. So.
Oh, I love you. You are such a good friend. What did I ever do to deserve a friend like you?
So it's a Funko
love this
Pop
bottle opener. Can you please talk to me about this bottle opener?
Well, you get as part of the this 40th anniversary. Here's the box. I saved the box.
Tell how long ago you ordered the sucker?
A year ago. So it's in the Star Trek shop.
4 days, like the 18th a year ago. So almost like 4 days shy of a year. He pre-ordered it.
Yep.
It showed up the other day, 2 days ago.
Dave G. Sound. I own Mother Tongue, and it is a beautiful book. I'm so happy that you read that. And that's a book that you and I shared, Dave G. Sound. Mother Tongue is a terrific book.
Indeed.
Yeah, this is so neat.
Isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm. So but once again, why is the SETI eel on the Delta?
Yeah, we don't know.
I guess they just thought it would be cute. I don't get it. I mean, that's all I can imagine, right? They just think, hey, there was the eel. Let's put that on there. We think that, but like, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not, guys, but whatever, man. I mean, better there than in your ear, I guess.
Yeah. But nothing on the back. But, so now I understand why Khan, even though despite his superior strength, he wore that necklace, which is a bottle opener on City Alpha.
To crack a sarsaparilla.
Yeah, even though he can rip it off. So, I don't know if I'm going to use it as a bottle opener, but kudos to Funko. So there's... you got a bottle opener there. And then, of course, this is really super awesome. So you've got...
Is that a magnet?
It's a pin.
Oh, it's a pin.
Isn't
Oh,
that cool?
Yeah, cloisonne pen.
okay. I don't
Those cloisonne
understand.
pins.
Is the center a pin?
Well, no, the
No.
two. It's got two.
Those are the backs of it. That hold the
Yeah.
little. I love those kind of the things for the back because usually the other ones disappear. The clasps.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that whole thing is a pin, not just
Yeah.
the.
Just Kirk.
Well, just
Just
Kirk,
Kirk?
just the metal. Just
Oh, okay. Well, the Just Kirk,
Yeah.
that needs to go on every single suit jacket that I teach in.
right. Can you imagine wearing that
Like
or
right on
wear
the
that as-
lapel,
You'd
right
have to
beside
buy
my
a Funko.
Delta.
You'd have to buy the Funko.
Yeah, it's exclusive to this Funko. I don't wonder if they're going to sell them separately. Or could you imagine wearing this as a tie pin, tie tack? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, Dave G Sound. I bought that book and read that book a number of years ago. It is. Is it in my collection here?
Larry for the $2 super chat. Thank you, buddy.
Oh,
Appreciate
it
that.
is in this library. Usually, it's in my other library because I have I have a parlor, like a sitting room that is more extensive library, so that folks can peruse the books and they're books that I like to leave open to discussion. So usually that book would be out there, but I have it right here. Let me grab it.
Thank you, Larry for the $2 super chat, buddy. Says, I want the Spock helmet with red light on top.
Oh, that was so
Don't
cool.
know
That
if
was
I
in
know
the
that
Sears
one.
catalog. Yep. So they had. I won't drag it out now, but I have a picture that's from the Sears catalog. So there was like a Star Trek set, and one of it had it said Spock on it, and it was a helmet with a red flashing light.
Why?
Early 70s, yeah. They were just looking for merch that they could put out. So.
I want the
so
Spock helmet with a red light on top.
Yeah, so if you goggle it, you'll see it. But I have it in my Sears catalog. So who would win?
Spock is a new.
Funko
Well, Spock. Khan is an Avenger, apparently.
Khan is an Avenger. Yep. I guess this has a different special paint job. It's got silver paint allegedly on this Funko, but
That Delta looks like an A from the Avengers.
looks like an
We were
A.
talking
Yeah,
about
looks
the
like
other
an
night,
A.
yeah.
Looks like an A for the Avengers. So
That looks like an
I don't know
A.
which captain would win, Captain Kirk,
Come
or
on. Is this even a question?
or Captain Crunch versus
Your agonizer, please. Your
which
agonizer.
captain would win?
But that is a cute little Captain Crunch.
Isn't that a cute Captain Crunch? Yeah.
Captain Crunch, destroying the inside of children's mouths since its inception. Dave G Sound, I have a treat for you. More than 350 million people in the world speak English, and the rest, it sometimes seems, try to. Thus begins Bill Bryson's engaging jaunt through the quirks and byways of the world's most important and baffling of languages. No other language has achieved such eminence, overcome such odds, inspired such majesty of thought, or caused such confusion as English. Bryson covers the entire history of language, from the first crude murmurings of Neanderthal man 30,000 years ago to the explosion of English as a global language in this century. We learn why island, freight, and kernel are spelled in such patiently unphonetic ways, and why 4 has a U in it, but 40 doesn't. We discover why Noah Webster was a liar and a cheat, and on occasion stooped to plagiarism, while the great Samuel Johnson was often wildly careless and inaccurate. In his dictionary, he defined garret as the topmost room of the house, and attic as the room above the garret. Dubious. We learn how some of the most cherished rules of grammar can be traced to an 18th century English clergyman who had no formal training in grammar, why one of the most prolific contributors to the Oxford English Dictionary couldn't come to the publication party. He was an inmate at a hospital for the criminally insane. It's a very interesting story. And much, much more. This is a book that will, like the English language itself, amuse, delight, and occasionally astonish you. So definitely The Mother Tongue is a great book to read, and certainly The Adventure of the Inmate, who contributes to the English language and is, contributing to the dictionary is. Anyway, it's very interesting for people like Dave G Sound and myself, and perhaps others in the nerd nest of nerdness.
I could never think of Dr. Johnson without thinking of that great Blackadder episode where Robbie Coltrane played him. Oh God. Oh man, it was so great. DJ Ronnie G, thank you, buddy, for the $5 super chat. You were too kind. He says, I ordered 2 Con Funkos so that I could gift one to my brother. Might have to keep both so I can have the extra pin. Maybe I'll spring for the third. There you go. Although Kurt's not happy about it.
Right?
Yes, Dave G Sound. Please recommend this book. Now Dave G Sound's recommending the book to everyone in the chat. Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
a criminally insane person helped do the OED, and folks need to know about it. And listen, Dave G Sound, not since my buddy Clobby and my buddy Mark has anyone openly courted my nerdiness on this podcast, and I do love you for doing that. You are wonderful. Recommending super nerdy books. Love, love, love you, Dave G Sound. Dave G Sound. Not just another body of water.
Yes. There is no hero, sir, unless, of course, it is our mother tongue. The mother's the hero. Well, that's just, isn't it? Never mind. That's from the episode. Blackadder. Oh, God, that episode's
Classic.
perfect. I love
And you
that
can
shit.
still
Blackadder
buy.
the third.
I was gonna say, sorry, you can still buy these Funko Pops. So, DJ.
Can I
Ronnie G
write
was
to
saying.
them and just be like, hey, I'll take the bottle opener and I'll take the pin and you can burn the Funko Pop?
Well, you could donate it to someone in need
Who
loves
would want
Funkos.
it? There are dumpsters full of Funko Pops. Who wants
But
them?
not that
No
one.
one.
That's a special con one,
Yeah.
limited edition.
No.
Oh, poor Funkos that are 30. Imagine $30 million, and that's the production value, not the net.
They're
you
the
know, not
Beanie
gross.
Babies of this generation. They're the Beanie
They're
Babies.
fad. If that's what happens when you put that much money in a fad.
It's
Right?
true. Like, but all those people had like Beanie Babies. Think about the people
bazillion
who
of
paid like 60, 70, 80, 100, and
Or
120,
thousands of dollars.
$200,000 on Beanie Babies. And now
They're not worth much. A
Does
few of them
have
are worth
Beanie Babies
something.
anymore?
They do. Yep.
They
Yeah.
do?
Oh yeah, they do. Yep. But I think like the Princess Diana one was still worth something, or certain ones. But yeah, like anything where you oversaturate the market, it's just going to plummet. Plus, most of the designs aren't that good too. You get sick of them after a while. We see a whole wall of. Sorry if anyone loves Funko Pops. I mean, I've got a few of them.
A lot of people do.
A whole wall of Funko Pops just doesn't. Yeah, I like mixing things up. You have a few. You can have a few pops, a few action figures, but like this kind of stuff is fun. How it doesn't get much better than that Captain Crunch. Is the Captain Crunch a Funko? Let me see.
I don't think so.
I hope he's not.
I don't think so.
He might be. He might
He
be.
has,
But he doesn't really
it
look.
has to have a gargantuan head, does it not?
Yeah, but this might have been a Funko. Let's see. Check my magnifying glass here. Let's see. Is it say Funko? But like things like that are fun where it's not supposed to, Captain Crunch. What is Captain Crunch supposed to look like, right? So
We're getting
he doesn't
mixed
look
reviews
realistic.
here in the chat.
His
DJ
eyebrows
Ronnie
go
G
through his
says,
hat.
I'm not crazy about pop vinyls and Funko Pops, but they make decent presents. This is true if you know somebody's hardcore about something and you can get them just a cheap Funko. But Matthew Pounder says fetus pops. Horrible!
Oh. Captain Crunch is a Funko Pop. He's made by Funko. So
Oh, are you serious?
that kid's coming. Yeah, so that's a
Doesn't look
good
like
one.
one.
How does it feel? No, yeah, it was
He
a
doesn't really
special.
look like one.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. I mean, it's
Hungry Boy saying that they have hydrocephaly.
What? I just fell. Oh my goodness. Wow. Dude.
Funko Pops have hydrocephaly according to
Jesus.
HB.
Yeah,
they
then
do
he
make
added
good-
another
good
word. He had
presents,
another
yeah.
word to that.
He did.
Man.
Lisa's like, wow, guys. Wow.
Wow.
Lisa
Oh,
realizes
oh.
that the train is fully off the tracks at this point.
Oh dear. Oh
Well,
my
guys,
word.
should we call it?
Yeah, let's call it. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. I'm gonna thank you all for hanging out with us tonight, being here tonight. It's been fantastic as always. You've all been extraordinary. It goes by too fast. Show notes. I guess. Well, before I do that, I'll give my closing words from our wonderful first officer, Commander Briggs. Go for it.
Oh, thank you so much, boss. Thank you for having me tonight. I want to thank everyone in the chat for bringing just your sparkling, amazing conversation. You guys are all great conversationalists. We are nothing without you and the way that you guys just, inspire us to talk about all these different subjects, and you interject and you join in the conversation. It's truly a magical experience, and we appreciate each and every one of you for bringing that into this room every night when we broadcast. It's just terrific. I want to thank all the wrenches. The boss is going to do that later, but I just want to specifically say how much I appreciate. You don't even get paid to do that, and yet here you are supporting us and making this show the best it can be. So thank you, wrenches. I love each and every one of you, and you guys know that. I want to thank everyone who shared this stream. I want to thank everyone who's going to watch it or listen to it later. I want to thank everyone who donates to this stream to keep the lights on at CLOBBY'S virtual comic book shop. This is such an important part of what we do. I cannot thank you enough. I want to thank my great friend, Mark D with a C. He's so intelligent, so fun to be around. He's so caring and has such a great sense of humor. He's always there to bring the laughs, to bring the cool stuff, and to just be an awesome guy. And I want to thank my captain, mon capitaine, how much I love you. You are one of the best friends I've ever had in my entire life. You are just a crazy cool grand poobah of all of geekdom, of all of nerddom, and I had a great time tonight. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I love you too. Engineer, any last words?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. A lot of fun. Our private conversation, as we said, or let's make it public. We have so much fun doing this and hanging out.
Yep.
So
made public.
Yep. So great time. Thank you for excusing me and letting me show Funko Pops. As I joked when I just put in the link to the unbox. I said I had to get the preeminent Funko Pop expert on my show today for the unboxing clobbering time. So he almost clobbered me, but no, we had a great fun talking about that. And so a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm hoping to be here for Saturday Night Star Trek. Kids are back from college this week, so I might be out to dinner. But you don't worry. But yeah, if I'm
and don't be fully ashamed of your dumb Funko Pop, because I would have even bought that stupid Funko Pop because the bottle opener and the pin. The bottle opener and the pin are totally cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Can someone please clip that and just say I would have bought that Funko Pop, and we can
no editing. Well, no editing.
No editing, right? But thank you. Yeah, it is a cool pop. Yeah, the accessories are very cool. But yeah, and always fun. Shout out to we're going to shout everyone out. But yeah, it's so much fun hanging out with everyone and talking about things that we love. And this chat is awesome. You guys, all the questions and going back and forth. It's a lot of fun. It's a great hangout here. So much appreciated. And yeah, Sunday night we'll be doing Sunday Night Geekery. But yeah, so thank you for sharing your time with us. It's great, and keep watching UFO. Great stuff.
Yep.
But don't buy too many pops.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here with us tonight. Show note, of course, as always. Tomorrow night I'll be hanging out at the great Nick Weiser's channel, doing a little bit of the Friday Night Comic Shop show, which is 8:30 Central, with Nick and those boys, and then Saturday Night Star Trek. Please join us. We're having a fantastic time. 4 more episodes of Deep Space Nine Season 5, getting close to the end of that season. And so, by the way, I want to shout out something to Hungry Boy a little bit. Forgot to do this earlier. Thank you for this great piece of work, Judge Clobby. Awesome. Hungry Boy, I didn't get a chance to thank you for this in person. I don't think you were here the other night. I remember last night, whatever it was. So yeah, again, shout out to Hungry Boy again for this great piece of work. I also didn't get the shout out. Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk marked a very sad time, a 2-year anniversary for our great buddy Mark C. And I want to thank the great Mexican Iron Man for joining me, and I want to thank our great buddy Doomcock for joining me the other night. It was really fun. Great to have them there reminiscing about our good old lost pal. And I just appreciate those guys so much. Great fellers. And this, I'm going to shout the wrenches out, and then we're going to get out of here because we always like to shout out our fantastic wrenches who do so much for us. The great bronze Richard, Eric K, and his puppy.
Hope you're feeling better.
We're cute.
Curl up
Yeah,
with
feel
Kirby.
better.
Eric, feel better, my brother. I believe he had to leave, but whether they're here or not, they get the shout out. The great Chris Persia, the
Love
indicator wrench of the North.
Night, honey. Love you.
The-
Thank you for
The
being
great
here.
the great D. Bud Martin, a wrench of iron. Lord Thoth, the god of wrenches, and of course the wonderful Lady Thoth. Excuse me, Lady Thoth. Avon
Loth.
lives. Avon lives. Long live the Legion. And the end,
And?
of course, puppy.
Yay, Lance! Sir Lancethoth.
My partner in crime on Earth, B. The great wrench without fear, J-Man.
J-Man.
Master of the Claboni, the great hungry boy, official Clobbering Times artist and cover artist for the magnificent work of R.M. Briggs, Science Fiction Tales.
Genius man. Love him. HB.
Super Wrench himself, the great Kal-El.
The real
Thor.
soup.
Thor from Vegas, wielder of Wrench Mjolnir, Maddie's daddy.
Yay. Hope you're feeling
And, of
better,
course,
honey.
The Fanty Outsidey.
Yay.
Good. Thank you for being here, Deuterishness. And well, thank you all so much. We'll get everyone properly shouted out Saturday night, but we'll let you run now. Again, I just can't thank you enough. And anyone who listened to us, the lurker, I always forget to do this. Lurkers out there, thank you. Oh, forgot to close my poll. Damn it, so to speak. Here we go. We have a poll that I
What's
did
the
earlier.
poll?
Oh, yeah.
I
What is
asked
it,
the
Bob?
question of our audience:
Okay.
are you planning to see Shazam: Fury of the Gods?
Oh.
And I gave them four choices. 36 votes. No was the winner in first place.
Oh.
In
Oh.
second, I'll get to that. In second place, I'll wait for it to go on streaming was number 16. It was 16% rather. In
Oh.
third place, yes, at 13%. And maybe if it gets good reviews was at 13%. So interesting. No's the big one. Whopping no. No one cares about these movies anymore. And look who's here, the wonderful sixth. Beautiful lady.
Yes. Hello, beautiful.
With a $10 super sticker. Oh, thank you so much.
Super
Six.
sticker. Yeah.
Look at
She's
that
a
beautiful.
sweetheart.
Beautiful lady. You're too kind. It's so great to see you. I hope you're having I was great hanging out with you tonight on Midnight's Edge over there with Tom and the gang. And it is great to see you here tonight. Lovely, lovely lady. Thank you. Thank
Sweetheart.
you so much, my dear.
Yeah, yeah.
And well, I guess we're gonna run out on you now, everybody. But have a fantastic weekend.
Happy St. Pat's. Kiss an
Happy St.
Irishman.
Pat's.
Kiss an Irish girl.
Indeediousness.
But get permission
Absolutely.
first. Don't get yourself into trouble.
What if it's your
Works for me.
wife? What if it's your
Yes.
wife?
You
Does I
may.
need to ask permission?
No. You can sneak up on her.
Clobberanimo! those nerds! 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 What? I just love clobbering time.